Tide Weather Report was brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. A good look at Frosty Westring, head football coach at PLU, 22 years in Tacoma. Done a great job with that program. And Gene Nicholson, head football coach at Westminster, 27-6 in his third year. Pacific Lutheran won the toss, deferred. They will be kicking off. Jamie Thomas doing the kicking off for Pacific Lutheran. Aldrich Jones back deep for Westminster College. We are underway at Civic Stadium. A high, short kick to the far side of the field by number 23, Todd McLean, up across the 25-yard line, where Westminster will take over 1st and 10. First series of the ball game for the NAIA Division II National Championship. There you get a good look at number 11, Sean O'Shea, quarterback for Westminster. Remember, these guys like to run the ball. Westminster, 9-game winning streak. Handoff, Andy Blatt, the main man on the ground. Blatt to the near side, across the 35, up to the 37-yard line. So Todd, Westminster already establishing that running game.
They go right to the bread and butter. We mentioned Andy Blatt, just a sophomore. He is already 10th in career rushing and can move even further. You see the lead block for him by Matt Buggy, a great blocker. Pacific Lutheran's not a bad defensive team, second in the country in rushing defense.
A gain of 9 on the play. Their first play from scrimmage, 2nd down and 1. Westminster in white, PLU in gold. Again, Andy Blatt hit hard up near the 40-yard line. A gain of about 2, and that should be enough for a first down. A look at the Westminster offense. Sean O'Shea leading the way. He's the quarterback, 5'11 junior. The Smiths Home Furnishing starting lineup. Backs and receivers, Blatt, Buggy, McNeil, Sofrin, and Spencer for Westminster. And the offensive line, Armstrong, Kisnerick, Wilson, Parada, and Shaw. 1st and 10. Westminster at their own 40-yard line. Motion to the far side. Sean O'Shea calling the signals. Handoff once again, Andy Blatt, big hole, good yardage across midfield in Pacific Lutheran territory.
John Ruby making the stop for the Lutes, but you see, Steve, what Westminster's going to do, run it right up the middle.
Smiths Home Furnishings, Pacific Lutheran defensive line, Winder, Thiel, Mahalik, and Jackson. The linebackers, Benedict, Ruby, Riddell. And the secondary, Larson, Givens, White, and Christensen. The Pacific Lutheran defense. 1st and 10. Westminster on a roll, running the ball hard. Andy Blatt. Tough runner, Todd.
Very tough runner. Talking with Sean O'Shea, the Westminster quarterback, yesterday, he said, I hope PLU comes out in a 4-3 because if they do, it'll allow us to run just about anything we want to. So far, they've been successful with no frills.
John Hamill on the stop for Pacific Lutheran. A gain of 3 on the play. You're watching Westminster at its best. Running the ball. A good look at Andy Blatt. 2nd and 7. Westminster just underway from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. Westminster and Pacific Lutheran for the NAIA Division II National Championship. Andy Blatt, again, a big hole inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Brought down by Trevor White from PLU. Boy, the offensive line, Westminster really opening up some huge holes.
Running some great traps left side that time. Kisnerick, the guard, and Nathan Armstrong, who's 6', 280. Little advantage against the front line of Pacific Lutheran that's going about 220 to 250.
Sean O'Shea calling the signals. 1st and 10. Westminster on the move. Their first possession. Ball at the Pacific Lutheran 37-yard line. Handoff, Matt Buggy stopped in line of scrimmage and brought back a couple yards. PLU defense rises to the occasion.
The Titans took Blatt out of the game for a breather after 5 carries for 36 yards and watched Buggy in action. A good runner, but not nearly as powerful or able to cut back as well as Blatt. And you see the Lutes able to make the tackle for the loss, and a good grab by Thiel.
Jason Thiel on the stop. A loss of 3. 2nd and 13. Buggy in the backfield along with Blatt. Motion here to the near side. Sean O'Shea Trying to find an open receiver. Being pressured by the Pacific Lutheran defense, and he goes down. Ted Riddell. The PLU defense pressuring Sean O'Shea. So Westminster comes to the table, runs the ball extremely well. They try to pass it for the first time, and the PLU defense is ready.
Buggy picking up Riddell on his stunt originally, but he stayed with it. Some pressure from Jackson and Winder, and he was able to make the stop.
3rd down and 20. The ball at PLU's 46-yard line. Sean O'Shea calls timeout. 11:11 left to play, first quarter. No score from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon.
I'm holding Bruce Smith's shoe, man. You know what Bruce does in these shoes, man? Bad things, man. I mean bad things. Things that I just can't possibly talk about. You know what Bruce would do if he found me messing with this shoe, man? Bad things, man.
I came to California, the stuntman was my name. Everyone's an actor here, but I play a different game. 'Cause I don't need the limelight, blind me with this
And action.
the rough stuff, for fame I just don't care.
Hey, I'd like to try that sometime.
Oh, I don't know. It's a little crazy.
No, I meant your RC.
I know. So did I.
For me and my RC, me and my RC.
3 concussions, a broken leg, 2 knee operations, fractured collarbone, and I don't know how many busted noses. There's just no way Ronnie should still be here, playing a game like football. The guy must have a screw loose. Loose screw, you can add that to his list of injuries, too.
Welcome back to Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. No score, first quarter, Pacific Lutheran and Westminster. 3rd down and 20. The ball at Pacific Lutheran's 46-yard line. Sean O'Shea back to pass. He's going deep. Oh, it's caught! Number 14, Tim McNeil. O'Shea just threw it up for grabs, and McNeil did a great job coming down with it.
It was up for grabs. One-on-one coverage with John Hamill, the cornerback for Pacific Lutheran. McNeil is a big play catcher for him. And watch here as O'Shea really never looked anyone off the ball. And as you mentioned, Steve, it was anyone's. And a good job, a gain of 40 yards on the play for McNeil. He just out-jumped John Hamill.
Down to the 6-yard line. So if you're looking for big plays, there's the first huge play of the ball game. 3rd down and 20. And Westminster comes through. The long pass to McNeil. 1st and goal now from the 6. Blatt in motion to the far side. Sean O'Shea. Fumble on the play. Picked up by Pacific Lutheran.
And Hamill makes up for his mistake on the coverage by being in the right spot.
First turnover of the day.
Out of the power I formation, and you really see a bad exchange between O'Shea and Darren Coast, the backup running back in that power I. Hamill coming off the corner, pounced on the open ball.
Okay, get ready. Here comes Pacific Lutheran. You want a little action? These guys put the ball up in the air in a hurry, averaging over 41 points a game. Mark Weekly, 42 touchdown passes on the year. Weekly, back to pass. He's going deep right up the bat. Man open, caught! And brought down in Westminster territory, about the 38-yard line.
That's their big play. Chad Barnett out of the backfield, Steve. They've completed that play 11 times this season, 10 times for touchdowns, and they gain over 50 a play with it. Here's the fumble play again by Westminster as you see the bad exchange. Meanwhile, PLU, you wonder, will they throw from deep in their own end? They did in a hurry, a 52-yard gain.
Absolutely no hesitation on the play. Weekly, a great pass right on the money to Chad Barnett. 1st and 10, the ball at Westminster's 38-yard line. Things are happening to the near side. The pass is caught and brought down. Very little gain. Tim Wetzel
Wetzel making the tackle on Aaron Tang. And here's the initial play again. You see the little option fake. Barnett coming out of the backfield.
Look at this pass.
Well-thrown ball.
Single coverage, and they sting early. 2nd down and 9, a gain of 1 on the play. Welcome to Home Sports Entertainment. I'm Steve Arena, along with Todd Pickett, live from Civic Stadium. No score between Pacific Lutheran and Westminster. Game just underway. The pass caught. PLU on the move. Gavin Stanley with the reception. And you take a look at the Portland, the Pacific Lutheran offense. Mark Weekly leads the way at quarterback, a 6', 185-pound senior. The backs and receivers, Tang, Barber, Barnett, Gray, and Stanley. Offensive line, Soski, Bonar, Flatham, Douglas, and Linerud. 1st and 10, PLU with the ball. Weekly shouting out signals at the 27-yard line of Westminster. Weekly back to pass, has all the time in the world. Now floats it out to the right side and caught. Aaron Tang with the reception. Inside the Westminster 15-yard line to about the 12. The Westminster defensive line, Biggin, Germanowski, Honig, Modrat. The linebackers, Kaminsky, Gross, Mills, and Wetzel. And the secondary, Jones, McLean, and David Dick. They're being tested early.
One of the big keys we saw a moment ago, Steve. Can PLU's line pick up Westminster's defensive pressure?
1st and 10. The ball at Westminster's 12. Look at this setup, Todd. 3 receivers here to the near side. They hand it up the middle. Frosty Westring working on the sets.
His son Scott, the offensive coordinator, and Frosty says, hey, he's a real genius when it comes to offense. You see how they'll try to stretch a team, and quite often as we see Frosty on the sideline, PLU will try to stretch a defense by showing pass and running the ball up the middle. 3
wide receivers split to the near side in a stack type of formation. 2nd down and 10.
Guess what?
4 now. 4 receivers here to the near side. Take a look at this. 2nd and 10. The ball at Westminster's 12-yard line. No score inside. 9 minutes to play, 1st quarter. Weekly back to pass. He's going to run the ball up the middle. Look out, he's got some room. Touchdown, Pacific Lutheran. Mark Weekly.
We mentioned about Weekly being able to scramble. One thing to keep in mind for Mark Weekly, he does have some stretched ligaments in his non-throwing shoulder, so he's under orders that if he gets into traffic to go down and slide rather than take a defender head on. We saw his scrambling and running ability in that touchdown score.
I tell you, Todd, they made it look extremely easy.
Well, this team gets off the blocks in a hurry. Pacific Lutheran averages over 17 points a game in the 1st quarter alone, and you saw Weekly drop back a couple steps, wait for a lane to open, and take it into the corner.
And now for the point after, Jamie Thomas. Pacific Lutheran on the board early. Nice snap from center. The kick is up, and it is good. Pacific Lutheran on top early. They lead 7-0 over Westminster. 8:40 to play, 1st quarter from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. On a board!
Over 100 years ago, visitors to Oregon would often return home with a very special beer.
It's Henry's.
No, thank you.
A beer that even today, some parts of the country have yet to discover.
Welcome to the Oregon Express.
But Westerners always were slightly ahead of the times.
Emergency exits are located 2 to the front, 2 to the sides, and 2 to the back. Now, in the unlikely event of a water landing, your seat cushion will act as a flotation device.
What's up, guys?
Well, Butch Jr. and myself are looking at some new products here at Butch's, like this new Remington stainless steel rifle. It's really a nice gun.
These new Beretta 20 gauges are really beautiful.
You know what? With new and used guns, paintball supplies, gun safes and 4 stores, a pawn shop, police supply, fishing and archery shop, all with great pricing and 0 down financing, you guys need to stop looking and start selling.
College football fans, ABC Sports and ESPN have your season ticket to the best and most gridiron action. College football pay-per-view. In addition to the games on ESPN and your ABC station, get extra games from the nation's top teams and conferences that you won't see anywhere else.
Pacific Lutheran on top early, 7-0 over Westminster College from New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Jamie Thomas kicking off for Pacific Lutheran. Perfect day for football. The ball to the far side. Todd McLean at his 15. Up across the 20. He's got some room to the 30-yard line and finally brought down. So Westminster will take over their second possession. There's a scoring drive for Pacific Lutheran. 6 plays, 90 yards in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Mark Weekly caps it off with 11-yard touchdown run. 90 yards in 6 plays. Of course, the big one to Chad Barnett.
4 for 4 passing on the drive for 79 yards as well, and now O'Shea will have to try to counter.
Westminster down 7-0. The ball on their own 30-yard line. Motion here to the near side and Tim McNeil. Handoff, Andy Blatt up the middle. Strong runner, picks up close to 4 yards. Albert Jackson on the stop for Pacific Lutheran. Tough defender.
Jackson was the defensive player of the game in the second-round victory over Central Washington. In the last 4 games, he's run back 3 fumbles for touchdowns.
2nd down and 6. Clock running, approaching 8 minutes to play, first quarter. If you're just joining us, Pacific Lutheran scores on its first possession to take a 7-0 lead for the NAIA Division II National Championship. Once again, the handoff up the middle to number 48 for Westminster, Matt Buggy. Judd Benedict, the stop for Pacific Lutheran. On the sidelines, what's going on with Westminster? What are they talking about? What can they do to stop that Pacific Lutheran offense?
They'll have to make some adjustments, and the biggest key will be to bring some pressure defensively. We saw the loop line pick it up on the first drive.
Quick adjustments. 3rd down and 3. Sean O'Shea to the near side, looking complete at the 48-yard line to number 14, Tim McNeil. On the receiving end, that'll be enough for a first down. 1st and 10 Westminster.
Steve, we talked a lot about Westminster being a ground attack team, but Sean O'Shea can throw the ball. He's already number 9 career passing at the school, but can open it up. Last week he was 9 of 17 passing. The first couple weeks of the playoffs, bad weather hampered Gene Nicholson's passing attack.
It's obvious they're going to have to score some points today. O'Shea calling out the signals. 1st down and 10. The ball at Pacific Lutheran's, rather Westminster's 47-yard line. Handoff to Andy Black, and he is stuffed. Number 92, Jason Thiel with the stop. The PLU defense taking a stand. Take a look at Thiel here.
Jason Thiel, one of 14 players from the state of Oregon coming back home to play in this championship game, just got through the trap blocking that time as PLU has come out of that base 4-3.
A loss of 2 on the play, 2nd down and 12. Westminster down 7-0. Sean O'Shea sends Tim McNeil in motion to the far side. The handoff absolutely nowhere. Matt Buggy is stopped.
Pacific Lutheran brought the house that time. Riddell coming in from the linebacker spot along with Benedict, and you can see what the Lutes are doing. Ruby getting into the backfield. PLU really had Buggy hemmed up before he could go anywhere. Take another look at it as they try misdirection, does Westminster, and immediately Benedict is in the face of the ball carrier before he gets it from O'Shea.
Good penetration by the PLU defense. 3rd down and 13. Another critical play for Westminster. The ball at Westminster's 43-yard line. O'Shea straight back to pass. Has to scramble out of the pocket. He's got some room. Across midfield into PLU territory. Nice effort. Sean O'Shea inside PLU's 45-yard line. Brought down by John Ruby for Pacific Lutheran. Nice play by Sean O'Shea. Shows that ability to run the ball, but he's going to come up short.
Good play by O'Shea, but it was made possible in part by PLU's defense, which blew containment against the quarterback. They got a little overeager, over-pursued, and allowed him to get to the outside corner.
The punting team in for Westminster. Matt Roback will punt for the Titans. And Chad Barnett back on his own 10-yard line for Pacific Lutheran. Low snap. Nice job by Roback. Short, high punt to the far side, out of bounds. And Pacific Lutheran will take over with pretty good field position. 5:13 left to play in the first quarter. Pacific Lutheran leads 7-0.
I think the holidays are the best time of year because it really makes you appreciate what you have. Getting together with family and friends to have fun and spend some time together. Looking back on good memories you share and looking forward to what the future holds. That's what the holidays are all about. And that's what everyone in our Thomason Auto Group family wishes for you and your family this season.
Happy holidays!
In Oregon, some of our most dedicated athletes will never have an agent. Never see their face on a cereal box. Never have a shoe named in their honor. But while high school sports may lack the glamour of the big time, it's still important to the thousands of kids who choose to compete, even without a contract. And at the Oregonian, that's important enough for us.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
From all of us at Alpenrose.
Welcome back to the NAIA Division II National Championship game. There you see the score. Pacific Lutheran leads Westminster 7-0. PLU with the ball on its own 31-yard line. Mark Weekly in the shotgun. Back to pass. Has a lot of time. Throws it out here to the near side and complete. Across the 35 up to the 37. Gavin Stanley on the reception for the Lutes. Craig Gross and Tim Wetzel on the stop. A gain of 7 on the play. Weekly, look at that. 5 for 5.
Weekly with trips formation to the left really just waits for Stanley to clear the zone, get in underneath against two of the linebackers, and as we see early on, Weekly's getting time to throw against the defensive pressure, but if the Titans gamble with more rushers, it opens up the field for the wideouts.
A lot of time so far for Weekly. And again, he has 3 receivers to the far side, and he hands off up the middle. Across the 40-yard line, up to about the 42. That's Aaron Tang on the carry. The stop by Barry Andrew for Westminster.
Steve, for all the passing PLU does, when they run the ball, it's very effective. Tang, Barber, and Barnett, their 3 starting backs, all average nearly 8 yards per rush.
They can get it done both ways, can't they?
Well, and it's interesting as we take a look at Frosty Westering on the sidelines while they measure. Everybody thinks, well, if Mark Weekly has all these great passing numbers, they must throw the ball 40, 45 times. He averages 25 pass attempts a game. They strike for big yardage, but they don't put the ball up in the air a ton of times.
They're about a foot short for the first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard. Pacific Lutheran comes into this championship game averaging over 41 points a game, coming off an extremely impressive 52-14 win over Baker, Kansas in the semifinals,
in which they rolled up 404 yards total offense in the first half of the game.
3rd down, less than 1. Mark Weekly, senior quarterback, and he's a dandy. He's going to throw. Straight back, screen pass, incomplete. Chad Barnett, the intended receiver, on the screen up the middle. Are you surprised by that call?
A little bit. As we watch the defensive pressure now, Craig Gross 50 gets an open lane towards Weekly. Obviously in the screen you want to let some defense through, but Mark with Gross in his face simply threw it behind Chad Barnett. He's upset with himself, and we now see Mark call for a timeout because on 4th and a foot he's arguing with Frosty Westering saying, hey, let's go for it.
He was not at all happy with his pass, obviously. Threw it behind Barnett. Then he's forced to call a timeout at the line of scrimmage, and now they'll huddle on the far sidelines. And there you take a look at the Westminster defense. Talking to Gene Nicholson. Nicholson and Westminster College, along with Pacific Lutheran here at Civic Stadium in downtown Portland, Oregon. A perfect day for a football, Todd. Clear skies, sunshine, cool, 38 degrees at kickoff, but perfect considering some of the options we would have normally this time of the year.
Absolutely. It's dry, and that may be the biggest advantage. Talking with Gene Nicholson yesterday, Westminster in the first 3 rounds had to deal with rain, mud, snow, etc. And I said, well, you must be pretty happy here. You've got artificial turf, decent weather, should be everything you'd want to allow you to run your attack. He said, all in all, I'd rather be playing in the mud. Slow PLU down.
You can actually call PLU the home team here this week because a lot of fans from Tacoma, Washington down here to watch this game. About 3,500 to 4,000 PLU fans intending to make the trip. 4th down and 1, PLU will go for it at its own 41-yard line. A big play for the Lutes. Handoff. It's going to be close. Number 34 for PLU, Aaron Tang with the carry, and it looks as if, Todd, he's got enough.
Back man out of that power I, and Aaron Tang at 5'8", 175 just put his head down and gained the yardage necessary for the first down.
First down, Pacific Lutheran. That's a gutsy call. Early in the game, up 7-0 in your own territory. You go for it, 4th and 1.
Well, that's from a coach who threw from his own 10 on the first play, so.
First down and 10. Mark Weekly and the Pacific Lutheran offense. And we have penalty markers on the play. PLU walking backwards. Roger Judd, the referee today. Steve Wilson, the umpire.
Before the snap, the illegal snap on center.
There you see the
Fence
call.
is still first down.
5-yard penalty on the Lutes. First down and 15 for Pacific Lutheran. Dry artificial turf making this offense even more dangerous. Weekly in the gang. Up to the line of scrimmage. Doing a lot of talking, calling out the play. Back to pass. Westminster needs to put some pressure on Weekly. He scrambles to the far side, still looking, and complete. Gavin Stanley on the reception. Boy, I tell you, Weekly has all the time in the world to throw.
He does, and his scrambling ability makes it even more dangerous. Aldridge Jones on the coverage. This is just a case of Weekly finding an open spot and waiting for someone to come clear. And if you're Westminster defensively, you say, how much more pressure can we put on him at the risk of allowing our defensive backs to give up even more space to the wideouts? Watch again as Weekly scrambles. Had the option to run as well if he chose to do it. Jones on the coverage, but not before another big gain to Stanley.
For the most part, nice coverage by the secondary, but Weekly can just basically pick out his receiver. 2nd down and 6, a gain of 4 on the play. Weekly again, back to pass. There's some pressure going deep. Barnett overthrows the intended receiver.
Tim Wetzel, the outside linebacker, providing some pressure, and you see Mark Weekly talking to his line saying, hey, somebody did not pick him up. And Weekly was a little surprised to see Wetzel come in with a full head of steam.
Andrew Berry on the coverage. 3rd down and 6. The Westminster defense trying to dig down and stop this play.
Steve, you talked about Weekly taking some time before the snap. Keep in mind, we're talking the son of a coach who is like having an extra coach out on the field. He will make a lot of audibles once he takes a look at Westminster's defensive set.
You see Mark Weekly taking a good look here. Can read the secondary so well. Reads the defenses, and that's what makes him such a great quarterback. 3rd down and 6. Back to pass. Again, lots of time. Here to the near side. Complete. Gavin Stanley. They'll spot it just inside the 45-yard line. And that'll be a first down for Pacific Lutheran. Weekly, a lot of steam on that ball.
Has good zip on the ball. And again, with 5 receivers in the pattern, somebody's going to be against a linebacker. Tim Wetzel, the outside linebacker, doing all he can to cover against Gavin Stanley. But Stanley, who has set some school records, had 70 catches this season, 13 touchdowns, is able to make the cut on the linebacker and a disciplined pattern just beyond the yardsticks.
That's a long sideline pass, and he put a lot on it. 1st and 10, Pacific Lutheran. The clock inside, 3 minutes to play, first quarter. PLU leads Westminster College 7-0 in the NAIA Division II National Championship game. Weekly calling out signals. Aaron Tang in motion to the far side. Did they take too much time?
25-second clock expired that time on him.
So 2 mistakes now by Pacific Lutheran. An illegal procedure, and now they take too much time.
Dead ball. Delay a game on the offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
First down and 15 for Pacific Lutheran.
You see Mark Weekly reading his wristband, has the plays listed on that. He also wrote down a couple of mental cues. Read the defense and watch your feet. Those were his keys coming in.
First and 15. The ball at Westminster's 49. Weekly, lots of room, but a great defensive play. I tell you, if Craig Vilwalk didn't tackle Mark Weekly, he had 20-25 yards of clear sailing ahead.
Again, you see Weekly talking with Tang. Craig Vilwalk, 6'2", 290-pound freshman, a backup defensive end. This is a case of Weekly waiting too long. Take off now, and he's got it. He waited just too long, and Vilwalk was there to come off the block and make the stop.
He had lots of room to roam. Second down and 16. The ball smack dab in the middle of the field now at the 50-yard line. PLU leads 7-0. Clock running inside 2 minutes. Weekly, play fakes. Scrambling to the far side, throws, incomplete. Outstanding defensive play by Kevin Kamensky. Kamensky with a nice play.
Again, a case of an outside linebacker against a receiver. Give Kamensky credit for the scramble, but the receiver does not come back to the ball. Watch at the tail end of the play here as Weekly on the sprint out waits for the play to develop. And instead of the receiver coming back for the ball, a little bit behind him as well, Chad Barnett trying to reach for it, and Kamensky was able to get the hand on it.
Third down and 16. The Westminster defense has been on the field a long time in this first quarter. And they're faced once again with another big stop. Weekly in the shotgun. Straight back to pass again. Lots of time over the middle. Complete. At the 35-yard line of Westminster, Gavin Stanley.
Going to depend on the spot. Kevin Kamensky and David Dick teaming up for the tackle, and it is going to be very, very close as Stanley had to come back over the chains. There you see right in the middle of your screen is Stanley. All he's doing is going head-to-head with the linebacker and then making a cut one way or the other. PLU's team speed, one of the biggest worries for the Titans coming into the game. You can see why with Stanley's catch.
Stanley came into the game, Pacific Lutheran's leading receiver with 70 catches. Just a solid player. Mark Weekly, 8 of 11, already 118 yards, and we're not finished with the first quarter. Again, PLU just short.
And 3rd and 16's nothing for the Lutes. We're looking at Weekly, who averages better than 16 yards per completion. And in addition, nearly 21% of those completions go for touchdowns. Frosty Westering, most active, winning as coach in NAIA, 4th in active winning percentage at just over 74%, his 22nd year at PLU.
Definitely a player's coach. He loves his players. And Gene Nicholson, his first trip to the national championship game as a head coach for Westminster College. 4th and less than a yard. 1:21 left to play first quarter. PLU will try to keep this drive alive. Mark Weekly. Back to pass. Wide open. Aaron Tang. Touchdown, Pacific Lutheran. Can you believe that play?
You almost wonder if Weekly intentionally made that move at the line of scrimmage to fake the dive. The bobble on the snap, and Tang was wide open.
That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did.
Just before the snap, Mark Weekly changes his feet, changes his structure, and take a look on the snap play now. Oops, tucks down, and then pops back up again. Never really bobbled the ball at all. Aaron Tang, one-on-one, outraces defensive back David Dick. Talk about imagination with this offense. What will they think of next?
I tell you, they were showing quarterback sneak to pick up the short yardage. Jamie Thomas on to attempt the point after. It is up and good. And Pacific Lutheran with 1 minute and 7 seconds left to play in the first quarter now leads at 14-0. The Lutes rolling right along here in the first quarter, averaging 17 points a game in the first quarter coming into this game. And we'll be taking a look at that
Watch it again as
Touchdown
Weekly
play.
makes the fake on the snap. 43-yard touchdown play, and you can see the Titans, they all were sucked in on it. It was a brilliant fake.
Boy, that's a great play. That is a great play.
And he continues to extend his marks. As you see Aaron Tang celebrating in the end zone. 43rd TD pass of the season, 110th of his career. Aaron Tang averages 44 yards rushing a game, but nearly 80 yards receiving a game. And as we mentioned, the passing attack is much more effective for the backs than their running game.
14-0, PLU on top of Westminster College from New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Jamie Thomas kicking off for PLU. Gets pretty good foot into this one. Aldridge Jones at a 7-yard line, up across the 20s, got some room, across the 30, and fights his way up to about the 34-yard line. On the hit, Keith Fulfs for PLU. And Westminster will take over at its own 34-yard line. Here's a look at Aldridge Jones.
Jones, an All-American, with a 27-yard return here.
Boom. Stood him straight up. Inside a minute to play. Clock stopped, 59 seconds left. Westminster College forced to battle back now, down 14-0. Can they do it? Can they loosen up this offense? The handoff, Andy Blatt up the middle. They're sticking with their bread and butter. Pacific Lutheran's scoring drive, 10 plays, 68 yards in just less than 4.5 minutes. Aaron Tang, a 34-yard touchdown reception from Mark Weekly. 14-0 PLU. Clock running, approaching 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Sean O'Shea and the Westminster offense definitely has some work to do. Handoff up the middle. They're not panicking, are they?
They have to stick with their game, and of course they are at a disadvantage. It's not a great come-from-behind offense. We're seeing, though, Pacific Lutheran, after the initial 4 or 5 plays of the series, making some adjustments and beginning to bottle up that Westminster attack. 5 out of the 13 rushing plays prior to this series were tackled for a loss by PLU's defenders, so they're making an adjustment.
Time runs out in the first quarter. It's all Pacific Lutheran. The Lutes jump out to a 14-0 lead over Westminster College. We'll be back from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon.
Over 100 years ago, good entertainment was as rare as a good beer, till Henry Weinhard made his very own private reserve.
Never had this before.
Which made finding a good beer easier.
Gentlemen, Tex Velvet. Thank you. You are beautiful.
But good entertainment was still a long ways off.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Come on, you know the words. She'll be coming.
Strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Osborne McCann Cadillac in Tacoma is having a year-end sale you won't want to miss. We need to clear our decks and make room for the 94s. That means terrific buys on remaining new 93s right now. Save over $8,300 on a new Eldorado, or over $8,500 on a new Seville, and save over $7,600 on a new Brougham. Come into Osborne McCann today while selection is at its best. And remember, happiness is driving a new Cadillac.
He was hired to protect her, but she only wanted his love. Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston star in the romantic box office smash, The Bodyguard, on HBO. And he was the world's greatest clown. He lived a life of stardom and scandal. Robert Downey Jr. stars in the Oscar-nominated role of Chaplin on Showtime. Viacom Cable brings the hits to your home in January.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
NAIA Championship Football is brought to you by Mortgage Market. We set the standard. 0% loan fees, 110% service. By the Oregonian. If it matters to Oregonians, it's in the Oregonian. By J.C. Penney. Doing it right. And by Nike. Just do it. Welcome back to Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. Westminster has run a play. They are down 14-0 in the second quarter. Remember, Westminster came into this game with back-to-back shutouts. Already, PLU has put 2 touchdowns on the board. First down, Westminster at their own 44-yard line. Sean O'Shea calling the signals for Westminster. Back to pass. He's being pressured. The PLU defense. Albert Jackson leading the way. Sean O'Shea having a tough time throwing the ball, being pressured.
Both Jason Thiel and Matt Mihalik, the defensive tackles, came up the middle that time. We'll take another look at it. O'Shea making the initial fake, and you can see Thiel beat the attempted block that time of Mark Dana, who's in the lineup for Westminster, and then finally Jackson there to wrap him up with some help from Judd Benedict.
Jackson came into the game with 11 quarterback sacks and 67 tackles. A loss of 3 on the play, second down and 13. Sean O'Shea trying to generate some points here for the Westminster offense. Again being pressured, rolling to the far side, the pass deflected and incomplete. Boy, you can't underestimate this PLU defense.
Josh Arnold coming up with the deflection as you see him on the screen. Big difference in numbers in the first quarter, Steve.
Rushing yards, 45-14 Westminster, but after that it's all PLU. 152 yards passing, 9 for 12. Total yards 166-95.
Another big third down play for Westminster now that they'll have to try to convert long.
3rd and 13 from the Westminster 41. The pitch to the near side, that's Andy Blatt. And he's driven almost out of bounds by Albert Jackson. He's all over the field. Pickup of a couple.
Jackson, an interesting young man, good team pursuit. Talking with him yesterday, he actually saw Westminster play before he ever came to PLU. As we watch him with the pursuit to the outside, assisted by John Ruby. He watched the Titans play in a semifinal game when he'd committed to PLU and said, hope someday I get to play against him.
And he's got his wish. Robach back to punt for Westminster. Chad Barnett back deep for PLU. It looks as if we're going to have a return. Barnett at his 25. He pitches over to the far side. That's Ted Riddell. He's got some room across the 40, up to midfield, into Westminster territory. What a play.
And how about the poise of Chad Barnett? He knew he was going to get nailed and made a dead on the money pitch to Riddell.
Pacific Lutheran doing it all right. Take a look at this. Barnett, he just gets the pitch off. And there's Riddell, 32-yard punt, a 38-yard return. Frosty Westering bringing all the rabbits out of the hat.
And look at the convoy he had in front. Great block by Jackson to gain additional yardage, and also had Chris Van Sligenhorst out as well.
14-0 Pacific Lutheran leads it. Mark Weekly in the offense will try to add to that. That's Andrew Tang to the far side and knocked out of bounds just shy of the Westminster 40-yard line. Aaron Tang on the carry. PLU dominating to this point, up 14-0, and they're showing some flash. The ball at Westminster's 40.5-yard line. It'll be second down and 9 as you get a good look at Frosty Westering. He's keeping things exciting on that sideline. PLU with 3 receivers here to the near side. Weekly back to pass. Looking to the far side, and he just throws it out of bounds. Give credit to the Westminster secondary. Doing a good job in the coverage. Weekly has a lot of time to throw, but on several occasions already, he's had a tough time finding open receivers.
Craig Mills coming in to apply pressure inside linebacker. You see him trot off the field. Sophomore from Elwood City, Pennsylvania.
Good look at Mark Weekly. There's Gene Nicholson, head coach at Westminster College. You know he has to be concerned right now. Down 14-0, 3rd and 9. Weekly in the shotgun. Receivers, 3 of them split here to the near side. Weekly back to pass. Over the middle, incomplete. On the coverage, David Dick for Westminster. Nice defensive play.
Jim Shapiro, backup running back, the intended receiver on this one. Man-to-man coverage against Dick. Nice grab by Weekly of the snap as well.
Watch the defense. David Dick reaches around. Nicely done. The Westminster defense apparently has forced a punt by PLU. And he does it all. Mark Weekly back in punt formation, standing at his own 48-yard line. Kicks it to the near side. That's Aldrich Jones picking it up at his 5. Easy. Up to the 15-yard line. Pacific Lutheran leads 14-0, 12:28 left to play, second quarter from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon.
I think the holidays are the best time of year because it really makes you appreciate what you have. Getting together with family and friends to have fun and spend some time together. Looking back on good memories you share and looking forward to what the future holds. That's what the holidays are all about. And that's what everyone in our Thomason Auto Group family wishes for you and your family this season.
Happy holidays!
They say in the end, your whole life will flash before your eyes. Make it worth watching.
The baby's mother on the right shops at the supermarket. The baby's mother on the left shops at Food for Less. As a result, the Food for Less mother is saving money every week, every month, every year. So, when it's time for college, the Food for Less mother will have the money to help pay for it. And the supermarket mother? Well, she'll be hoping her son can play for it. Blech.
Pacific Lutheran up 14-0. That's the Multnomah Athletic Club overlooking Civic Stadium. Get some nice seats up there. Great place to watch a football game. First down and 10. Westminster on the attack from its own 15-yard line. Sean O'Shea with Matt Buggy and Andy Black in the backfield. O'Shea here to the near side and complete to Matt Sofrin for the Titans.
Sofrin, the leading receiver for Westminster. Mark Gibbons on the coverage for Pacific Lutheran. Great fake here to Blatt up the middle on the eye to hold the backers inside. And O'Shea throwing on the run, planted the feet nicely. Little question along the sidelines. They said, hey, he might not have gotten under the ball, but you can see Sofran with the good grab.
Look at that time of possession. Westminster 11 minutes to PLU 7:19, and PLU leads 14-0. Sean O'Shea. Back to pass, has a lot of time. Over the middle and complete. So Westminster starting to put the ball up in the air. Mike Spencer on the reception. 6'2", 225 pounds. Oh, O'Shea says, come on, get the play back into me. Let's go, let's go.
And the Titans are doing it off of play action. That's allowing him to open the lanes. It's also giving O'Shea a little bit more time as he's able to get that one inside. Josh Arnold on the coverage for Pacific Lutheran. Spencer, the tight end, is where he's listed. And average is in the playoffs better than 22 yards a catch. You can see just short of the markers there.
Second down and short. 11:43 left to play, second quarter. A lot of fireworks in the first quarter with PLU building a 14-0 lead. This for the NAIA National Championship. Sean O'Shea 4 out of 5, and he's going to need to throw the ball today. They're down 14-0. O'Shea calling the signal. Second down, less than a yard. The handoff up the middle. Good contact. Matt Buggy on the carry. Up near midfield. Obviously enough for the first down. Big hit.
Buggy with good drive was met initially by Trevor White, safety for PLU. You watch White, number 14, who's actually the leading tackler on this team when you combine solos and assists, but Buggy just mows him down and picks up enough for the first down.
They're banging heads, clock running, approaching 11 minutes to play, second quarter. 1st and 10, the ball spotted at Westminster's 49-yard line. Westminster in white, PLU in gold. Once again, the handoff up the middle. Andy Blatt wrestling for a few. For a tough runner, Albert Jackson again in on the play for Pacific Lutheran, along with Josh Arnold. Good look at Andy Blatt, Westminster's leading rusher with over 1,200 yards entering today's action. Boy, this guy.
Power football.
Yeah, powerful runner. Ooh, almost a face mask there. No flag, though. 10.5 minutes to play, second quarter, 2nd down and 6. In motion, Tim McNeil to the far side. O'Shea with a long signal count. Short drop, pass complete. Inside the 40-yard line to about the 38. Trevor White on the tackle. Matt Sofran with the reception.
Interesting adjustment. Sofran at the line of scrimmage looked up, saw he was one-on-one initially with Mark Gibbons, and wigwagged a signal back to Sean O'Shea. That's how they agree on what the pass route will be, and O'Shea knew what route Sofran would run then.
Nice catch.
Jukes by Gibbons, and then good help from White to make the tackle.
1st and 10, Westminster on the move at PLU's 37-yard line. Again, O'Shea back to pass, here to the near side, incomplete. Boy, that Pacific Lutheran defense really dogging Sean O'Shea.
Ted Riddell right up the middle that time. Riddell with 19 sacks for the season. You can see O'Shea quickly going over to get the next play to be called. This is probably the best thing, though, Steve, that could happen to the Titans right now. They made the stop on the defensive series, and they're maintaining possession, running some clock time, allowing those players to get settled down a little bit, and, of course, most of all, keeping Mark Wickley and the PLU offense off the field.
Right. One way to stop the PLU offense is to keep them off the field. 2nd down and 10. O'Shea again, the pass, complete. Sofran inside the 30 and hit hard at about the 28. Ted Riddell smoked him. Big hit by Riddell.
Sofran will take those hits if it means gaining yardage like this. Again, working against Gibbons, the sophomore cornerback. You see Gibbons over pursues. Riddell comes up and lays the lick on him, leading tackler for the Lutes.
Clock running inside, 9.5 minutes to play.
Sofran on the sideline after that last hit.
Clearing his head. 3rd down and 1. Big play. O'Shea. 25-second clock. Inside 5 seconds. The handoff. Andy Blatt has a little bit of room. Inside the 25 to about the 24. And that should be enough for a Westminster first down. The Titans on the move. A long, sustained drive, which began at their own 15-yard line.
Jackson and White on the stop that time, and Blatt, as a good eye back will, waiting for his hold, picking his spot, and then driving upfield to gain the yardage.
Sofran back in the lineup for Westminster. 1st down and 10. Give credit to that Westminster offense. They're not panicking. They're staying with the game plan. Gene Nicholson keeping them poised. This drive so far, 61 yards for Westminster. And O'Shea wants a timeout. 8:40 left to play. Second quarter, Pacific Lutheran leads Westminster 14-0 in the NAIA Division II National Championship game.
In Oregon, some of our most dedicated athletes will never have an agent. Never see their face on a cereal box. Never have a shoe named in their honor. But while high school sports may lack the glamour of the big time, it's still important to the thousands of kids who choose to compete, even without a contract. And at the Oregonian, that's important enough for us.
Now showing at Smith's Home Theater, ProScan, and RCA. The top names in entertainment bring you film-like picture quality and theater quality sound with the latest innovations in convenience and performance at your command. ProScan and RCA in a customized setting that takes home entertainment where no one has gone before. Smith's Home Theater. Experience it for yourself right now at all Smith's Home Furnishing stores.
When thinking of a home mortgage for a purchase or refinance, you think about thousands of dollars in points and application fees. Often there are long delays and uncertainty if the loan will even be approved. Think again. Mortgage Market offers no loan fees, and we close our loans in 30 days or less. We have hundreds of loan types to choose from, and our free pre-qualification and guaranteed approval ensures you receive the absolute lowest rates at the lowest cost anywhere. Call Mortgage Market today. It's no wonder we're the metro area's #1 home mortgage loan source.
Welcome back to Civic Stadium. There you see the score. Pacific Lutheran leads it 14-0. Sean O'Shea back to pass. Look out. Ted Riddell cleaned house from the far side and got him blindside.
We mentioned a moment ago Riddell with 19 sacks this season. Young man who started originally at Montana before transferring. Watch him come from the left of your screen. Lutz had 7 men up on the line and he was untouched. Riddell, the league co-defensive player of the year this season in the Columbia Football Association.
A loss of 7 on the play. The ball back to the to the PLU 32-yard line. 2nd down and 17. Sean O'Shea calling the signals. Draw play up the middle. Matt Buggy, and he's tripped up and down at the 35. John Ruby with the trip. Nice defensive play.
Ruby almost over pursuing as he was coming inside on a twist that time, able to get a hand on Buggy, and it was interesting kind of watching him. Watch Buggy sort of flail around, try to get his balance. Ruby beats Blatt's lead block, and he just couldn't quite get the footing he needed to on the turf.
The PLU defense showing that it will bend but not break.
And getting Westminster right where they want them in a long yardage situation to take away the power pot of the offense.
3rd down and 20 from the PLU 35. Westminster trails 14-0. O'Shea back to pass. Here to the near side, going deep. Caught and out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Tim McNeil with a dandy catch. What a pass by Sean O'Shea.
O'Shea with a great move to get away from the inside pressure of Riddell. But give McNeil credit now. This is the 2nd time he's been hooked up one-on-one with John Hamill, and he's beaten him both times. O'Shea spins away from the pressure, but Hamill thought he had coverage and was overthrown. It's twice now he's been out of position.
What a great catch by McNeil. 1st down and goal from the 5-yard line. Westminster trying to get right back into it. The handoff up the middle. Matt Buggy for a couple. This is where Westminster is so tough with that powerful running game. Strong runners.
Remember, they were down here once and fumbled the ball on the 3-yard line. Kind of uncharacteristic because the Titans are plus 13 in the giveaway-takeaway ratio coming into this game.
Darren Coast into the Westminster offensive lineup, and McNeil is out. A good look at Sean O'Shea. 2nd down and goal from the 2. Blatt in motion to the far side. The handoff, Buggy, and he is stopped cold. A host of PLU defenders led by Judd Benedict and Josh Arnold in on the play.
Interesting to watch here in the power eye. You put your leading rusher Blatt out of the backfield, Buggy trying to get it on the cross, and you can see both Benedict and Arnold along with Albert Jackson. And Benedict Arnold, sort of a traitorous defensive play there. So
I thought the same thing, Todd. Sending Andy Blatt in motion to the far side. He's their leading rusher.
And they go back to straight eye instead of power.
O'Neal here to the near side. Has some time. O'Neal trying to find an open receiver and finally drugged down by number 6 for Pacific Lutheran, John Ruby. I tell you, O'Shea had all the room in the world to the far side of the field.
The corner was open. Coverage is completely blown by Pacific Lutheran to the left of your screen. And as O'Shea comes back, he could run the ball into the end zone right now, but he evidently felt that the team speed, you saw Riddell coming back over to pursue, cut off that avenue for him, and instead they'll go to the field goal attempt.
And it's Willie Woods. The ball will be spotted at about the 16-yard line. 6 for 9 this year in field goals. Woods, this from 26 yards out. Oh, it hits the upright and bounces away. And Westminster is turned away.
That's when you know it may not be your day. Now, twice the Titans have been inside the Pacific Lutheran 5-yard line and have come away empty. Woods, one of 2 kickers that the Titans use. They alternate back and forth between Woods and Tim McNeil, and he just pulls this one to the left.
He hits this thing right smack dab in the middle of the upright, and it comes straight back. Tough break, and there you see Willie Woods. Oh, I can't believe it. So Westminster, a golden opportunity to put some points on the board. And the Pacific Lutheran defense holds. PLU takes over at its own 20-yard line, 1st and 10, 5:06 left to play, second quarter. 14-0, PLU on top. Mark Weekly, handoff up the middle, a lot of room. Across the 30 up to the 35-yard line. Tom Barber from the local area, Todd, from North Salem High School, about 45 minutes away from here.
Another one of the locals celebrating his 23rd birthday today, and he would love nothing more than to take home a championship for a birthday present. The trap's inside, as we mentioned. When PLU does run the ball, they're very effective at getting open avenues. Todd McLean from the secondary finally made the stop for Westminster.
Gain of 15 on the play, 1st and 10. At the Pacific Lutheran 35, I'm Steve Arena along with Todd Pickett, live from Civic Stadium. Once again, they try Tom Barber up the middle. This time the Westminster defense is ready. Brian Germanowski with the stop. NAIA Division II National Championship football action. There you see the Westminster defense doing what it does best.
Germanowski just straight up the middle, talking with B.J. Honig, his running mate at the defensive tackle spot. He said, we line up our front 4, we stay in our alleys, and we just put pressure on the ball.
14-0, PLU. Remember, Westminster came into the championship game coming off back-to-back shutouts. Scoreless the last 10 quarters entering today. They've already given up 14. Weekly back to pass. The ball deflected at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete.
Craig Gross in with the pressure for Westminster that time.
There you see Frosty Westrain on the sidelines. What a job he has done at PLU. His 22nd season in Tacoma.
Very interesting watching the two teams in practice yesterday before the game. PLU came out. They were very loose, very light. Westminster very methodical and businesslike. That's the way both teams have played all season, though, however. No change for this game.
After an opening season tie with Linfield, PLU has ran off 11 straight wins. Weekly back to pass. Again, plenty of time complete. Gavin Stanley up near midfield. Boy, I tell you, the more you watch Mark Weekly, the more you have to be impressed. David Dick with the stop, but Weekly all the time in the world, and I tell you, he can throw the ball.
Dick and Kamensky on the stop, and you have to give credit to the front line again. You see Weekly just waits for Stanley to get open. Give credit, though, to Sosky, Benar, Flatham, Douglas, and Linerud across the front because they're having to hold those blocks for a long time.
And they're doing a great job. The ball spotted at PLU's 49-yard line. The clock running inside 3.5 minutes to play second quarter. PLU up 14-0, and they're moving the ball again. They come in averaging over 41 points a game. Weekly near side complete. Stanley inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Craig Gross on the stop, along with Todd McLean. Gavin Stanley, again a local boy out of Tigard High School here in the local area.
Stanley on the slant-in route. We mentioned earlier he set 3 school records so far this year, 70 catches, 13 touchdowns, and good size at 6'2", 195. It's his 6th catch of the game already for 60 yards.
Weekly came in with him some stretched ligaments, stretched muscles in his left shoulder. Doesn't look slowed down at all. Again, Weekly out of the shotgun, lots of time, going deep over the middle. Caught! Chad Barnett. What a pass, what a catch. And PLU is deep in Westminster territory once again.
David Dick on the coverage, and if you're a fan of offensive football, is this a treat to watch or not? Here's Weekly dropping back Barnett out of the left side as they split open the formation again. Dick just can't keep up with it.
Look at this catch. Outstanding effort by Chad Barnett, number 28 Pacific Lutheran. 1st and goal. From the 8-yard line, Weekly again. Back to pass, lots of time. Looking, in the end zone. Caught Touchdown, Gavin Stanley. Pacific Lutheran has scored again.
Steve, this one's just a case really of a height mismatch. Stanley at 6'2" against the linebacker Tim Wetzel at 5'10". Wetzel doing a pretty good job of covering. Weekly simply floated it up to Stanley, who was able to outreach Wetzel. You see him reaching, calling for the ball. Wetzel's right there, but he just can't quite outreach Stanley for the grab. It's kind of like being a boxer on the ropes right now. You know there's another shot coming. You just don't know where it's going to come from.
Jamie Thomas on once again for the point after. That explosive PLU offense has done it again. Nice snap, the point after up, hits the upright and bounces through. So PLU getting all the breaks, all the bounces, and they lead it 21-0 as you take another look at PLU's third touchdown of the day.
They say in the end, your whole life will flash before your eyes. Make it worth watching.
NASA uses high modulus woven graphite, computer-aided design, and the latest in aerodynamic technology to launch objects into deep space. Come to think of it, so does Phil Mickelson. With Unix, wide-body graphite clubs. Win a chance to play golf with Phil Mickelson and demo a Yonex club today. See your participating dealer for details.
Chuck Daly for Sharp.
In basketball or business, you got to know what your players can do for you. That's why Sharp has a winning game plan for copiers. This booklet will help you find the right copier to increase productivity and reduce operating expenses. Whether you get a new Sharp high-volume copier system or a compact copier that lets you add on as your office needs grow.
Get your winning game plan. In Portland, call Pacific Office Automation today. 641-2000.
2:24 left to play. Second quarter, Pacific Lutheran has increased its lead to 21-0 over Westminster. Jamie Thomas kicking off again for PLU. Aldridge, McNeil, and Dick back for Westminster. At the 10-yard line, Aldridge Jones got some room across the 35, heading up the midfield. He could go inside the 25, the 15. Touchdown, Westminster. Aldridge Jones, 92 yards. And they stun PLU.
That adds to his 75-yard punt return touchdown earlier in the playoffs, but I will say the Titans got lucky. They got away with a clip right out at midfield on the return, a push in the back, but Jones had the open alley all the way down the left side. Some great blocking initially for him. We saw the speed on a couple other returns. Look at the wall set up along the left side, but right out at midfield, here comes a push in the back right there, and he's able to take it the rest of the way. They got away with one.
Oh my goodness. Willie Woods with the point after. The ball spotted down cleanly, up and good. So Westminster strikes quickly on a 92-yard kickoff return by Aldridge Jones, and suddenly there is life once again on the Westminster sidelines, down 21-7. They really needed that one, Todd.
Definitely did, and Aldridge Jones, as we said at the start, was fourth in the country nationally in punt returns. As Gene Nicholson talks to his offense now and says, well, we're back in this one a little bit. Frosty Westering, unruffled by the play, knows that it just gets the ball back to his offense that much quicker. Jones had that alley, and it really has been blocked perfectly, and you'd have to say so far in the first half, Steve, that might have been the weakest part of PLU's game, in that Westminster has been getting good field possession off of each kickoff return.
How many times in the critical games do coaches talk about special teams and the ability to play well on the special teams? And suddenly PLU is nailed with a 92-yard kickoff return, and Westminster is once again rejuvenated. Instead of down 21-0 going to the locker room, they score 21-7. Tim McNeil now getting set to kick off for Westminster. Chad Barnett standing on his 10-yard line for PLU. 2:12 left to play in the first half. Line drive to Barnett at the 14. Across the 20, looking for some room here to the near side, and he's found it across the 45-yard line. Chad Barnett. Bryant Douglas with the initial hit.
We almost had them back-to-back. Take another look here as the Lutes, Chad Barnett, who averages about 16 yards per return, waits for the alley to develop, takes it up the middle through a slight seam, and good pursuit by Bryant Douglas to make that last stop.
Great job in following his blockers and letting the wall set up. First down and 10. PLU with the ball on its own 41-yard line. Weekly straight back to pass. Looking across the middle, complete to Chad Barnett. A little screenplay up the middle, and Westminster covered it nicely.
Kevin Kamensky making the tackle for a loss. Weekly now 14 of 20 passing in the first half for 216 yards, and he needs about 60 more yards of total offense to set another NAIA single-season record. But a very impressive first half so far for PLU's senior quarterback.
Second down and 13. The ball at PLU's 42. Weekly again, a lot of time. Here to the near side, complete. Aaron Tang finally knocked out of bounds. In Westminster territory at the 27-yard line.
Tang in one-on-one coverage with Kevin Kamensky, the outside linebacker. Weekly looks first at the trips formation to the left side of the field. No one's open there, and Tang on a simple drag back the other direction as Kamensky took the wrong angle of pursuit, allowed him to get open. Then Aldridge Jones and Todd McLean made the hit.
PLU has so many weapons. Weekly 15 of 21, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we still have some time to play in the second quarter. Weekly on the scramble, he's going to run. And he goes down at about the 23-yard line of Westminster. So those 2 touchdown passes by Weekly today gives him 44 on the year. 44 touchdown passes, an NAIA record. Timeout on the field. A minute 10 left to play. 21-7. Westminster is down the PLU, and the Lutes moving the ball once again.
And still plenty of time for them. While we've got a quick minute, we want to welcome the fans of these two teams who are watching today, the Pacific Lutheran fans in the Seattle-Tacoma area joining us on Prime Sports Northwest, and the fans of Westminster College in the Pennsylvania area who are with us on KBL, as well as the rest of you across the country. And also one other special welcome we need to put out today, and that is to the crew of the nuclear submarine USS Florida, stationed at Whidbey Island Naval Air Station. They sort of adopted PLU during the season and attended all the Lutes playoff games, but they're unable to be here for the championship game today because they're at sea on active duty. So Frosty Westering and the Lutes asked us to pass along a special hello. The crew of the Florida will be joining us via tape, and they want to welcome them and thank them for their support throughout the season.
Indeed. Great fan support from both schools, and they should be awfully proud of these two football teams. Great football programs representing NAIA Division II football. Second down and 5. A minute 10 left to play, second quarter. PLU trying hard to add to its 21-7 lead. Mark Weekly calling the signal. Short drop. Ooh, nice done. Pass incomplete. Aldridge Jones, who returned the kickoff for the touchdown, in on a nice defensive play.
That's why Aldridge Jones is an All-American, as you saw him take an outstanding line that time and get inside. Good tight coverage as we take a second look. Simple square out route to the sideline. Weekly threw it inside rather than trying to get to the outside for Jim Shapiro, the intended receiver.
Third down and 5. A dry day, cool, 38 degrees at kickoff. Pacific Stadium, Portland, Oregon. 1:07 left to play. 3rd down and 5. Weekly looks a bit surprised with the snap there. Whoa, loses the ball. It's still alive. And an alert Mark Weekly knew it was still alive, and luckily for him, it bounced right back to him.
Craig Vilwalk on the stop. Timeout called by PLU, as they will rule this a fumble and not a pass attempt. Watch as the ball really just kind of squirts out of Weekly's hands while he's backpedaling.
Watch, it bounces right back up to him. An alert Mark Weekly.
And Vilwalk didn't give up either, coming around the block to make the stop. Lutz will call timeout one more time as they've got 4th down and really nothing else to do. Really kind of out of field goal range. As we take a look at some of the background for these two schools, we mentioned Pacific Lutheran in the Seattle-Tacoma area, founded in 1891. Westminster College in New Wilmington, which is about 90 minutes southeast of Cleveland and about 60 minutes north of Pittsburgh, founded in 1852, an independent school when it comes to the conference alignment, and with an enrollment of a little over 1,500. We'll be talking with representatives from both schools at halftime to find out a little bit more about their schools.
Gene Nicholson, head coach at Westminster. Westminster 5-2 in national championship games. PLU 1-3-1, winning their only national championship back in 1980.
And these two teams faced each other only one time despite all their success in the playoffs. That was back in 1983 in a semifinal game in Tacoma. PLU won that one by a 16-13 score.
4th down and 11. Mark Weekly, who used to be the ball boy for Pacific Lutheran, calling the signals now for the Lutz. Weekly back to pass, again has good time. Throws towards the end zone, incomplete. Gavin Stanley, the intended receiver. Nice coverage by Aldridge Jones.
And it was more like Gavin Stanley, the defender, on that one. Jones wanted an offensive interference call, but Stanley did a great job to reach back and take this one away from Aldridge Jones. Weekly buying time with the sprint out and trying to throw as he backpedals. That's always difficult, and you can see as a result it's a little bit behind Stanley, who does the job to reach it and take it away from Jones.
Sean O'Shea now in the shotgun. Looks as if Westminster going for some more points. O'Shea rushed heavily and down at his own 23-yard line.
Jason Thiel making the stop. Thiel's also an All-American for Pacific Lutheran in the hammer throw, one of 2 the Lutz have.
Clock continues to run inside 30 seconds. O'Shea again in the shotgun. And he calls timeout. There was definitely a mix-up. It looked as if O'Shea was calling for the ball on the snap, but he wasn't getting it. Finally, he turns around and calls timeout.
Last timeout that the Titans have, so that'll make things difficult. Even if they're able to complete a successful play, they'll have to work it to the sidelines to try to set up any sort of scoring attempt.
With 21 seconds left to play and Westminster coming off a critical stop on defense, I would really be surprised if they tried anything fancy here. The last thing they want to do is turn it over and give some more points to PLU going into the locker room.
Although we saw him in passing formation, as you see the skies around Civic Stadium, it really has been a beautiful December afternoon here in the Pacific Northwest, the fog clearing early. That is the gamble. If you're going to do anything, you have to do it long so that should you turn the ball over, your opponent doesn't have enough time to come back.
We'll see if O'Shea lines up again in the shotgun. And it looks as if he is. Westminster will try to make the most out of these 21 seconds. They're down 21-7. Westminster in the Penn State look-alike uniforms. Straight back, O'Shea across the middle. The pass is short. The intended receiver, Matt Sofrin.
Sofrin was open that time as he got in underneath. PLU backpedaling in the prevent defense, and Sofran found a route down the middle of the field.
The clock now down to 17 seconds left to play in the first half. I'm Steve Arena along with Todd Pickett. Nice to have you with us from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon on Prime Sports Northwest. NAIA Division II National Championship action. Westminster in white, PLU in gold. O'Shea scrambling, trying to get away from that sticky PLU defense. And once again, Albert Jackson putting on the pressure for PLU.
Looks like the Lutes won't call a timeout and force the punt, but just let the clock run out for the half.
And it does. We have completed the first half of play. Pacific Lutheran 21 and Westminster 7 for the NAIA Division II National Championship as Frosty Westering rallies his troops. Welcome back to Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. Pacific Lutheran 21, Westminster 7. We are about ready to wrap up halftime activities. There you get a good look at Mark Weekly. What an outstanding first half he enjoyed. Here are the stats on Weekly. 9 of 12 in the first quarter, 152 yards. 6 of 11 for 94 yards in the second quarter. 2 touchdown passes and 1 rushing touchdown. He is accounted for all 3 touchdowns.
And he's going to get the ball right back again. Yes, he's now up to 140 touchdowns he's responsible for, which is another one of his NAIA records. But there's Gene Nicholson, we mentioned, trying to rally his troops a little bit at halftime, and it'll be interesting to see just what they do to start off this third quarter against Pacific Lutheran's attack.
Halftime, of course, is a time of making adjustments, and it'll be interesting to see what adjustments Westminster has made, especially on defense, to slow down Mark Weekly in the game.
See the officials getting ready to tee up the ball. Interesting, too, one of the members of our officiating crew today, the field judge, Jim Northcott, played in this game in 1967. He played for Eastern Washington State College, now Eastern Washington University, against Fairmont State. So he said, I'm really happy to be back in this game. And it's an elite officiating crew, many with major college experience, who've been selected to work this game today.
You're looking at Tim McNeil teeing the ball up for Westminster. Remember, Pacific Lutheran won the coin toss at the beginning of the game. They deferred. They kicked off in the first half, and it'll be PLU receiving the second half kickoff. Chad Barnett back at his own 10-yard line, and the second half is underway. They kick it away from Barnett, and taking the ball for PLU is Josh Requay, and he is brought down at his own 20-yard line. First half possessions. Look at what they did. Their first 2 possessions, touchdowns, punt, touchdown, and then turn the ball over on downs. Pacific Lutheran, that offense can generate the yardage, can generate the points. First down and 10. 3 receivers split here to the near side. They swing it out to Chad Barnett. Good yardage on first down. Barnett up near the 30-yard line. Brought down by Kamensky and Craig Gross for Westminster.
A little different wrinkle in the attack this time. Barnett just stutter steps and holds, and literally it's a screen with the other 2 wide receivers in that stack blocking for him. Split the seam. Gross, the leading tackler for the Titans, one of their co-captains. And you see Frosty Westering calling for a timeout after just 1 play here in the third quarter. He's seen something that he doesn't like and is going to go ahead and call a timeout.
Boy, keep that one in mind. An early timeout for Pacific Lutheran. You always think of those early timeouts, especially if the game is close down the stretch.
We saw Westminster had to use some of their timeouts early in the contest as well, so be quite interesting to see just what it is that Frosty detected this time. You mentioned earlier in the game, as you look over at Gene Nicholson once again on the Westminster sidelines, that Mark Weekly is a former ball boy for PLU. He's also the son of the special teams coach, Ralph Weekly, who doubles as the school softball coach, and they're pretty good there too. They've won a couple of national championships, and the connection goes even further because the backup quarterback right there, the young man without the helmet, number 15, Carl Hoseth, his dad is also an assistant coach, and Carl's also a former ball boy. As Frosty Westering said, we kind of have a habit of recruiting our ball boys, and we haven't lost one yet.
Mark Weekly, number 16, playing his last game in a Pacific Lutheran uniform, and what a career he has enjoyed, especially his senior season, entering today's game with 42 touchdown passes. He's added 2 to that total for 44 this year alone. Second down and 1. The ball spotted at PLU's 29-yard line, and Weekly wants to throw again. Dropping back again, lots of time. Now Weekly will run, and he has a lot of room across the 30. Now pursued by the Westminster defense. Nice recovery, but he has enough for the first down.
Got around Craig Mills, the inside linebacker, and then Craig Gross bringing him down. But you saw what we talked about earlier in the game. Normally Mark Weekly would take these players on defensively, This is a good play by Weekly and shows his speed in the open field a little bit. Normally he'd head upfield, but he's under orders. When you get into traffic, just sit down, protect that non-throwing shoulder, and stay in the game where we need you.
Healthy or not, I would still think the coaches cringe when you see that quarterback take off.
The linebackers drool.
I know it. 1st and 10. The ball at PLU's 33. They lead 21-7. We're just underway here. 3rd quarter. Going long. Complete. Aaron Tang. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, PLU. The Lutes strike again.
Well, we mentioned at halftime that Westminster had to decide whether to get more pressure on the quarterback or get the linebackers away from covering the receivers. Tang one-on-one against outside linebacker Tim Wetzel, and it's just a foot race. Weekly puts the ball up down the seam. Wetzel cannot keep up with Aaron Tang. It's as simple as that. The running back outraces the linebacker for a 66-yard score.
Boy, beat him badly. So Pacific Lutheran strikes big again. Jamie Thomas on for the point after. Low snap, but they still get it down. Up and good. Pacific Lutheran 28, Westminster 7. The Lutes up by 21 for the NAIA Division II National Champion.
You don't even want to know about Barry Sanders, man. He does things on the field that just makes your eyes go all crazy. One time I saw him run right through people like a cannonball loose inside a pinball machine. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah. And then Barry did this move. Sometimes I still see it when I sleep. And I don't sleep that much.
My mother, chairman of Columbia Sportswear, honed her outerwear design skills while raising me in Oregon. In fact, she developed jackets that stand up to everything Mother Nature can throw at a human being.
The Columbia Interchange System.
Concussions, a broken leg, 2 knee operations, fractured collarbone, and I don't know how many busted noses. There's just no way Ronnie should still be here, playing a game like football. The guy must have a screw loose. Loose screw, you can add that to his list of injuries, too.
They have reason to cheer. Pacific Lutheran fans cheering their Lutes, who are up 28-7 over Westminster, the most points scored against Westminster this year.
This is a team that's given up just 51 points in their last 9 games, and now they've given up 28.
The kickoff here to the near side and out of bounds by Jamie Thomas. The Lutes up 28-7. They scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, added another in the second for a 21-7 lead at the half, and now they strike early in the third thanks to this play. 66 yards, Mark Weekly to Aaron Tang, who is wide open.
This is the 4th touchdown catch in the playoffs for Tang. He's had touchdown receptions now of 73, 66, 61, and 45 yards. Big play coming out of the backfield. And again, PLU getting the momentum early. They've tried to kick the ball away from Aldridge Jones throughout the game. Good reason why, and that one cost him going out of bounds.
With the kickoff out of bounds, they bring the ball up to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for Westminster. Sean O'Shea calling the signals. Hands off up the middle. Not much at all. Andy Blatt with the carry. Ted Riddell with the stop. 28-7. Westminster, you're taking a look at their offense. They need to get something going right now. Tim McNeil split to the near side as you take a look at Sean O'Shea, who sends McNeil in motion. Now he's back here to the near side. Hand off again, and the Pacific Lutheran defense is there. A host of Lutes all over Matt Buggy.
Interesting to watch the Titans running out of a double tight end set, running power formation now. Trevor White coming in to stop along with Riddell Ruby. Take your pick for PLU that time. But O'Shea and Gene Nicholson going to go ahead and stick with their basics right now, not afford to panic.
As we said in our opener today, Riddell and Jackson, we would be calling their names a lot, and indeed we are. They are all over the place for Pacific Lutheran on defense. 3rd down and 7. Big play for the Westminster offense. O'Shea back to pass. Gene pressured, trying to find some room, and he's running out of it. He passes the ball out of bounds and then is crushed by an enthusiastic PLU defense.
Jackson was there for the Lutes along with Winder. And give O'Shea some credit as he managed to throw this ball away, but a lot of pressure that time.
Boy, and he takes a shot. Take a look at this. When he gets here to the near sidelines, he sets to throw, and watch. Boom. Big hit by the PLU defense.
Mihalik coming in with that hit.
4th and 7. And Westminster punts. Chad Barnett back for PLU, and he lets the ball roll. And they get a good roll. Westminster does, down to the PLU 22-yard line. And that's where that high-powered Pacific Lutheran offense, led by Mark Weekly, will take over. PLU has had its hands on the ball one time in the 3rd quarter, and they have scored to lead 28-7. You get a good look at the crowd today at Civic Stadium. A lot of PLU fans here to watch their Lutes play for the national championship. They haven't won the national championship since way back in 1980. 1st down and 10. Weekly taking a look at the defense. The ball at the PLU 22. Handoff up the middle. Got some room. That's Tom Barber for the Lutes. Good look at Tom. Strong runner out of North Salem High School. Watch how he follows his blockers. Good block there. Steps around a couple other new Westminster players.
Exactly what you want to accomplish. Your line ties up the line so that he is untouched before getting into the linebackers. Finally, Kamensky making the stop.
2nd down and 1. The ball at PLU's 31-yard line. Far side, that's Barnett. He's got some room, getting some blocks up near the 40-yard line. That's just a play to get it out to Chad Barnett and have him follow his blockers and get some yardage.
Exactly. It's like running a slip screen. What the Lutes elect to do is have the wide receivers block rather than having the linemen slide out. Tim Gray, the outside linebacker, on the stop. Take a look at it from another angle again. Just a quick 2-step drop for Weekly. And again, you can see the wide receivers who do a good job of blocking for PLU out there providing room, and they just hope to crack a seam for him to run back.
Weekly does such a great job getting the ball out there so quickly. 1st and 10. Tang in motion to the far side. Weekly, look out. They've got a reverse here to the near side with Tang. Westminster isn't fooled. They box him in and bring him down at the 40.
Tried to run a little inside counter that time. McLean coming up from the secondary, among those to make the stop with B.J. Honig, the left defensive tackle. And Weekly, who normally is a good blocker, again, really didn't do anything more than a stand-up block that time. The sports information director for PLU, Nick Dawson, said Weekly threw probably the best block of the season on a similar play reverse, just flattened out a linebacker. He's a very aggressive player.
Frosty Westring standing patiently on the Pacific Lutheran sidelines. You know he's feeling pretty good right now. This team up 28-7. Still a long ways to go, though. 2nd down and 8. Weekly back to pass. Again, all the time in the world to throw. Intercepted Westminster. Tim Gray picks it off. Weekly tried to force it that time, and Gray answered. Will that charge up that Westminster offense now? Tim Gray trying to get his teammates going.
Talking with Mark Weekly before the game yesterday, he said, one of my keys is I cannot force the ball against this good defense. And that time he tried to. Probably didn't see Tim Gray come from the outside, although he was perhaps guilty of trying to get it to Gavin Stanley once too often.
O'Shea has got some room to run. Inside the 35, down to about the 34-yard line. That replay of the interception showed that Weekly was locked on Gavin Stanley for quite a while, and it gave the defense a chance to make some adjustments and get over there, and Tim Gray responded nicely, made the interception.
When things have gone your way, you kind of do tend to get into that and really not explore. Weekly has thrown an interception in each of the playoff games this season. So in each of the 4 games now, he has 1 pick per game. Other than that, he's been pretty efficient.
Really, his first bad pass of the day. 2nd down and 4, a gain of 6 on the scramble by O'Shea. O'Shea back to pass again, being pressured, but gets away from one, but not the other. Again, Tim Gray in on the stop, along with
Judd Benedict coming in on the tackle. Tried to go play action that time, and Kevin Winder was coming from the defensive end position. The play just took too long to develop for O'Shea. Watch to the left of your screen, and you'll see Winder come in and apply the pressure, untouched right there. Finally, he's pursued down, also was pulled down rather by Jason Thiel. Again, top of your screen, there's the man 44, Winder, one of the co-captains, untouched as O'Shea took too long in the play action and is again calling for a timeout. So Westminster has to use another timeout.
3rd down and 9. Pacific Lutheran leads 28-7. 9:19 left to play, 3rd quarter.
He was hired to protect her, but she only wanted his love. Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston star in the romantic box office smash, The Bodyguard, on HBO. And he was the world's greatest clown. He lived a life of stardom and scandal. Robert Downey Jr. stars in the Oscar-nominated role of Chaplin on Showtime. Viacom Cable brings the hits to your home in January.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
These days, we're all on a tight budget. The gas bill goes up, the car needs work. To make ends meet, I looked at cutting back on a lot of things, including my cable. But then I thought, CNN is where I find out what's going on and get financial advice. And ESPN is our year-round sports ticket. Even our fussy critics are calling TNT's original movies top-notch. When you add it all up, I like having cable. Viacom's a pretty good value. And in these tough times, that means a lot to me.
December 20th at 9 Pacific.
Action resumes. 3rd down and 9. Sean O'Shea to the near side, being pressured by the PLU defense, and he's finally forced out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. O'Shea on the rollout. Simply ran out of room. Great coverage by the PLU defense.
Yeah, John Ruby made the initial coverage, and O'Shea, as he did twice in the first half, was looking to make an adjustment with his receiver and throw it downfield. PLU secondary covered. Here's Jason Thiel coming clear across the field as well to get a piece of him after Ruby had forced him out of the pocket initially.
Matt Roback back to punt for Westminster. Chad Barnett standing at his own 11-yard line for Pacific Lutheran. A low punt, short punt out of bounds, and the officials spot it at the PLU 16-yard line. And that's where Weekly and the gang will take over 1st and 10. We have 9:07 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Pacific Lutheran leads 28-7. They led 21-7 at the half and scored on their first possession of the 3rd quarter.
A look there at Roebuck, the punter, who only averages about 30 yards a kick. Interesting, as we mentioned, PLU will try anything from any point on the field to see what they'll do from their own territory deep.
1st and 10. Barber right behind Mark Weekly. 3 receivers split to the far side. The handoff goes to Barber near the near side across the 15 and brought down by a host of Westminster players led by Brian Germanowski. Westminster needs the ball. They need a quick stop here, get the ball back, and put some points on the board. It's a good look at Brian Germanowski. 6'2", 255, a junior. Second down and 10. No gain on the play. Weekly now back in the shotgun. Stanley and Tang split to the far side. Tang now in motion. Weekly back to pass. Again, lots of time. Complete. That's Tang across the 20 up to the 22-yard line.
Another interesting play to just watch develop as PLU sends two receivers down the seams trying to stretch the defense, and then Tang just goes underneath against the linebackers Gross and Mills, who finally pulled him down. There you see the defenders going down the seam with the wide receivers, and that opens up a huge area in the middle of the field for Tang or whoever's in that inside slot position to just run a little square out drag through the middle.
Nice work by the Prime Sports Northwest photographers as we bring you the closest action possible. Third down and 3. Clock running inside 8 minutes to play. Third quarter. There you see the three receivers basically stacked to the far side. The pitch goes to Tang, trying to get around the corner and can't do it. Number 44, Tim Gray, who's been coming up big here defensively for Westminster in the third quarter.
Titans made some adjustments just prior to this snap and had it read perfectly. Again, Weekly under orders not to run the quarterback keep part of that option, so he had to make the pitch early. It made it that much easier for the Titans and Gray to make the stop.
Good look at Tim Gray, who's already come up with an interception here in the third, and that big stop to force the PLU punt. Weekly, a low end-over-end punt. Oh, Aldridge Jones almost lets it hit him. And PLU gets a great roll down to the Westminster 36-yard line. And that's where Sean O'Shea and company will take over, 1st and 10. Clock stopped at 6:50 to play, third quarter. Westminster trying to battle back. They're down 28-7.
46 yards on that punt. You don't think Aldridge Jones had very strong thoughts about picking it up and running it. We saw him take one from inside his 5 earlier.
And right at the last second, he jumped out of the way. 1st and 10, Westminster from its own 36-yard line. Sean O'Shea, straight drop back. Looking. Oh, wide open. Andy Blatt. He could go inside the 20. It's going to be touchdown, Westminster. Wow, blown coverage there.
Ted Riddell blew his assignment. The inside linebacker went with the fake as Blatt went out to the sideline and held, then took off behind him, and Riddell was frozen. Knew that he was caught and is kind of banging himself alongside the helmet. Westminster, wait, they're the team that runs the ball, aren't they, Steve?
Well, they strike big with the pass, 64 yards. They're not giving up, Todd. They come back with a huge touchdown. And Willie Woods on to attempt the point after. Up and good. So Westminster back in the game. They strike with a 64-yard touchdown pass. Pacific Lutheran still leads 28-14.
I think the holidays are the best time of year because it really makes you appreciate what you have. Getting together with family and friends to have fun and spend some time together. Looking back on good memories you share and looking forward to what the future holds. That's what the holidays are all about. And that's what everyone in our Thomason Auto Group family wishes for you and your family this season.
Happy holidays!
Without a camcorder, what memories will you miss this holiday season? What moments will you leave behind forever? Before you miss a single precious memory, come to Smith's Home Furnishings. You'll find a complete line of Sony camcorders. And you can buy with no down payment, no monthly payments, and no interest for an entire year. So don't miss a single moment. Save them all with a Sony camcorder from Smith's.
When thinking of a home mortgage for a purchase or refinance, you think about thousands of dollars in points and application fees. Often there are long delays and uncertainty if the loan will even be approved. Think again. Mortgage Market offers no loan fees, and we close our loans in 30 days or less. We have hundreds of loan types to choose from, and our free pre-qualification and guaranteed approval ensures you receive the absolute lowest rates at the lowest cost anywhere. Call Mortgage Market today. It's no wonder we're the metro area's #1 home mortgage loan source.
Westminster trying to battle back. Take a look at it. Sean O'Shea hooking up with Andy Blatt. 64 yards, a blown defensive assignment, and Westminster is back in the ball game. They strike big, cutting Pacific Lutheran's margin to 28-14. Some big plays today, Todd.
Indeed, it's what we expected on both sides of the ball, and as you get a look at Blatt.
Tim McNeil kicking off.
It's his third touchdown catch of the season, by the way.
McNeil for Westminster. It's a good roll. Look at this, but out of bounds. Chad Barnett watches it bounce out of bounds, and PLU will take over.
You know, Steve, you mentioned earlier PLU winning a national championship back in 1980. They also shared one in '87 with a tie, and it brings up an interesting wrinkle that's part of this championship game. There is no tie-break system. There is no sudden death. If the two teams are tied at the end of regulation, they're joint co-champions.
The ball will be spotted at Pacific Lutheran's 35-yard line. That's a good point, so keep that in mind if it's close coming down the stretch. No overtime. Co-champions. Mark Weekly calling the signals, and he drops straight back to pass. Has a good look at the field and going deep for Tang. Almost intercepted by David Dick. Weekly airing it out to Aaron Tang. Ball underthrown just a tad.
Sometimes you can get a little bit too greedy, and I think this was the case for Mark Weekly because Aaron Tang was really not open. He's had so many big strikes, how could you not today? Watch it one more time. But Tang is covered pretty well, as you see Weekly trying to buy off the defense a little bit. But there's a couple of white jerseys in the vicinity, and Dick nearly made the play. Good job by Tang to prevent the breakup.
Westminster not giving up. They're still playing hard. Down 28-14. 2nd and 10. Weekly again to throw. Incomplete. Big hit. A monster hit by Westminster's Craig Mills.
Mills making the lick on Stanley, and Mark Weekly is starting to get fixed on particular receivers. He's got Tang, look right here to the left, wide open. There's not a defender within 15 yards of him on the play, but he was locked on to Stanley over the middle. He paid the price with the hit on the linebacker. So as Mark Weekly said, I've got to make my reads. He really has not done it the last couple of plays.
Stanley popped but good. 3rd down and 10. Now the Westminster fans getting going here. Weekly rolls to the far side, passes complete. Aaron Tang, nice catch. Boy, you talk about a versatile player. He can do it all. Aaron Tang.
And a great throw by Weekly across the body as well. Running to his left, a difficult throw for him. Made it look simple, and Tang, watch a great grab once again. Tang with 50 catches for the season, 7 touchdowns, and we saw him on the big play one earlier. Stretches out and makes that grab. One more thing about Aaron Tang, at the end of the game, you think he doesn't get treated first, he's engaged to the student trainer on the PLU team.
I understand.
A little extra special tape job each week.
Ball at midfield, 1st and 10. Weekly, the handoff. Lots of room. Aaron Tang breaks free inside the 30, the 25, down to about the 22. Brought down by David Dick and Aldridge Jones. Aaron Tang can catch the ball, and he can run the ball. A lot of room there.
Only 535 yards rushing for the season, but he averages better than 8 a carry. Out of the shotgun, good block right there by Stanley to allow the seam to develop. And that's what the Lutes like to do. Find a crack, keep you off balance. When you think pass, they love to run.
Barber and Barnett in the backfield. Aaron Tang, 31 yards rushing, 167 receiving. Barnett trying to get around the corner, being chased down, and finally goes down. Hustling Westminster defense. Barnett goes down. Craig Vilwalk with the trip. A loss of a few on the play.
Westminster players are complaining. They wanted to see a hold on this call. And Vilwalk gets off the block and beats Jeff Douglas, the guard. That allowed the pursuit and forced Barnett back the other direction unsuccessfully.
Very few penalties today.
Just was going to say that. Gene Nicholson and Frosty Westring both said in the coaches meeting last night, you'll see a very clean ball game. You think about it. Delay a game procedure and out-of-bounds kicks have been it.
Second down, 18, a loss of 8 on the play. Weekly finds some room. He's going to take it up the middle on his own and goes down inside the 25, about the 22-yard line. And we have an injury on the field for Westminster.
Brian Germanowski twisting an ankle a little bit, gets up under his own steam and will limp off the field. As you saw, there's Germanowski, now the junior from Murraysville, Pennsylvania. You saw Weekly tuck it upfield and gain big yardage. You cannot stop a quarterback when he's in that area. Open field, quick feet. He's going to get some positive yardage no matter what.
Third down and 9. Clock running, approaching 4.5 minutes to play. Third quarter. Pacific Lutheran up 28-14, and they are driving once again, and Mark Weekly calls timeout. That's his second timeout already in the third quarter.
You hate to see a quarterback do that. They took one off the first play of the half, and as we mentioned then, if they should get to a crunch situation down the stretch, they've gone to the well. They don't have that reserve.
Westminster hanging in there, Todd. You have to give them all the credit in the world. Down 21-0. They battle back to 21-7. Down 28-7. They battle back to within 28-14.
Oh, I think a team with the tradition Westminster has, their 8th appearance in this championship game, they'll go full out till the final gun. They know that anything can happen in these games. Both teams have come from behind at times this season and won contests, and both of them are experienced enough to know that anything still could develop throughout this game. We've seen Sean O'Shea play very well, hit that big pass to Blatt for a touchdown. Should Westminster be able to make a couple stops defensively, they can get back in the contest.
Craig Gross coming back with orders from the sidelines. Critical sequence here. Third down and 9. Actually, 2-play territory here for Pacific Lutheran. Weekly breaks the huddle. Big play here for Westminster in that defense. 4:27 left to play. Third quarter. PLU trying to add to its 28-14 lead. The pitch to the far side. Aaron Tang brought down. Great defensive play. Craig Vilwalk of Westminster comes up with a big play.
Second time in this series that he's been able to get inside the blocker each time PLU tries to run sweep to that side. 88 Vilwalk, top of your screen, gets inside the trap block attempt. Curtis Benar was responsible for trying to get to him, and Vilwalk was simply too quick. He's a freshman as a backup, has blocked 3 kicks this year, been very impressive with some key stops today.
Fourth down and 12. Pacific Lutheran obviously going for it. Weekly in the shotgun. Rolls here to the near side. Again, plenty of time. Look out. Now he's in trouble. Gets away from 2 defenders, and he has a lot of room. Flag is down inside the 5 and finally out of bounds, but we do have a penalty marker on the play.
It'll go against Pacific Lutheran. It was a very late throw on the call. You can see Weekly's reaction as he finally spots the flag, and it was not as obvious as the block in the back we had on the kickoff return, but the officials did elect to make the call that time.
You're right, it was a late flag. Weekly was well on his way, all the way down inside the 5-yard line. But we have some work to do here. Referee Roger Judd. There's Frosty Westring.
Illegal block in the back, the offense.
There you have it.
10 yards from the spot of the foul, it'll still be 4th down.
Against Pacific Lutheran. Let's see if we can pick it out. Great scrambling job here.
It'll come on the second block, not this one here, but right there is what they're trying to call the hold, and it really didn't look like a hold per se as much as an illegal use of the hand. And it came very late, but now with the penalty, Weekly will punt.
Angles it to the sidelines and out of bounds. They will spot it at the 12-yard line. So the Westminster defense holds, and the offense will come out of the field down 28-14. 3:26 left to play, third quarter. Let's see if that Westminster offense could put together a drive. As you take a good look at Gene Nicholson, his team hanging in there. Chipping away, Sean O'Shea in the shotgun formation. Back to pass to the far side, complete. Tim McNeil with the catch and knocked out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Trevor White and John Hamill in on the play for Pacific Lutheran.
Sean O'Shea has been very impressive passing for the season. He's completed 58% of his catches, but he's shown a very effective arm in this contest.
Throws it hard. Has a little steam behind the ball. A gain of 8 on the play, 2nd down and 2. Clock stopped, 3:21 left to play, 3rd quarter. Westminster trying to battle back, down by 2 touchdowns. Handoff up the middle for a couple. Andy Blatt on the play. And he just hauled in that 64-yard touchdown pass to cut the lead to 28-14.
Ted Riddell on the stop made an adjustment, was coming on an inside line after the audible call by O'Shea. Was able to trip Blatt up.
Eric Stokes in the lineup for Westminster. Tim McNeil out, 3rd down and 1. Crowd coming alive here at Civic Stadium. The carry just short of the 25-yard line. Matt Buggy on the carry. Jason Fawcett with the stop for Pacific Lutheran. Enough for the 1st down. 1st and 10 now for Westminster. So they're able to pick up the short yardage, and they will keep their hands on the football. Clock running inside, 2.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 28-14 Pacific Lutheran on top. Tim McNeil in motion to the far side. O'Shea, play fake, has time, complete, near side at the 40-yard line. Pass complete to Matt Sofran. Mark Gibbons on the stop for Pacific Lutheran. So Westminster trying to move the ball, doing a good job. 1st half passing yardage, 126 yards. 2nd half, 3 for 3 for O'Neill for 88 yards. 1st down and 10. Westminster with the ball on its own 40-yard line. Again, McNeil in motion to the far side. O'Shea back to pass. Look out, ball's loose. And there's a scramble. PLU will recover. John Ruby picks up the loose ball. Turnover Westminster. O'Shea was hammered. Boy, PLU brought in all the horses, didn't they?
They definitely did, and they are very aggressive. They have forced fumbles throughout the playoffs with plays like these, and generally have been able to run them back for touchdowns. In fact, long distance several times. There the blitz as O'Shea tried to tuck it away and was not able to do so before Kevin Winder hit him. And as we mentioned, the recovery for the Lutes. They couldn't take it all the way, but the offense is back out after Ruby fell on it.
Huge defensive play by Pacific Lutheran. Chad Barnett now in motion as the Lutes take over on offense at Westminster's 30-yard line. Weekly is sacked. B.J. Honig. Oh, that's a big loss.
Honig able to beat the block of Curtis Benar. And Benar back talking to Weekly. Watch Benar 50 going against him. And the back blew an assignment as well. Benar thought he was going to release Honig to a back who was watching a different defender.
A loss of 12 on the play. 2nd down and 22. Clock running, approaching a minute to play, 3rd quarter. Weekly again, back to pass, complete. Aaron Tang inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Weekly to Tang. We've called that combination plenty of times today.
And Tang has caught passes out of the backfield, out of the slot formation. We mentioned earlier Scott Westering producing numbers like these, 358 yards passing, is Weekly now well past the single season total offense record. So many different wrinkles and routes, it's difficult to cover.
3rd down and 15. Weekly standing back and complete. Again, all day to throw the ball.
Jim Shapiro making the catch, his first grab today, as Weekly's looked for him 2 or 3 times. David Dick was on the coverage, but Shapiro didn't run the route deep enough. He'll come up just short of the sticks here, and you can see David Dick making a good play as well. Second look at it. Shapiro, but you notice one thing with Weekly, he's locking onto his receivers rather than scanning the field as he did earlier in the contest.
Time will run out in the third quarter. 28-14, Pacific Lutheran leads. We are headed to the final 15 minutes for the NAIA National Championship from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. We'll be right back on Prime Sports Northwest.
At last, a rear window wiper kit for your truck canopy. The Power Wiper by Pinnacle Design. Perfect for keeping canopy windows clear of rain, snow, and dirt. The Power Wiper kit comes with complete, easy-to-install mounting instructions and hardware. For only $74.95 plus $7.50 shipping and handling, receive the Power Wiper kit with DOT-approved stoplight. Or get the standard wiper kit for only $64.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-800-34-WIPER to order your own wiper kit. The Power Wiper. 1-800-34-WIPER.
Say Merry Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas? Yeah, get lots of stuff. Yay! Get your horsey. Do something cute. You're just gonna sit there and grin.
Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him.
These days, we're all on a tight budget. The gas bill goes up, the car needs work. To make ends meet, I looked at cutting back on a lot of things, including my cable. But then I thought, CNN is where I find out what's going on and get financial advice. And ESPN is our year-round sports ticket. Even our fussy critics are calling TNT's original movies top-notch. When you add it all up, I like having cable. Viacom's a pretty good value. And in these tough times, that means a lot to me.
Would you like to have the newest and greatest music ever recorded right in the palm of your hand? Music like country, rock, jazz, classical. Introducing DMX, a revolutionary new way to listen to music. Inside, DMX has digitally programmed the music from tens of thousands of CDs to play through your home stereo on 30 incredible channels. All you need is this. Want your DMX? Call us today.
West. NAIA Championship Football is brought to you by Nike. Just do it. By the Oregonian. If it matters to Oregonians, it's in the Oregonian. By JCPenney. Doing it right. And by Mortgage Market. We set the standard. 0% loan fees, 110% service. Welcome back to Civic Stadium. The fourth quarter is just underway. On 4th and 1, Aaron Tang broke through the line for a pickup of about 6 yards. First down, Pacific Lutheran. They have the ball at Westminster's 8-yard line, 9-yard line. First and goal from the 9. PLU trying to add to that 28-14 lead. Chad Barnett for a couple. Taking a look at the third quarter Smith's Home Furnishing stats. Rushing yardage goes to PLU. 64-52. Look at that passing yardage, Todd.
Sean O'Shea opening it up, but the total offense numbers now for both schools, we may be headed toward 8, 9, maybe 1,000 if we really open it up in the fourth quarter. It's an offensive show.
And joining us up in the booth today, Neil Lomax, former professional football quarterback for the St. Louis and Phoenix Cardinals, and owns the event management group putting on today's program and today's ball game. Congratulations, Neil. Great job. Good ball game as Weekly goes across the middle. Touchdown, Gavin Stanley. Number 88, Gavin Stanley. on the touchdown. Neil, nice play, huh?
Well, it's a great day and a great play. That was a huge series. You can have all kinds of accolades and the overstated fact of, hey, here's a big series defensively for Westminster, a key series offensively, but now you're 3 touchdowns ahead. It'll be very interesting to see Weekly going back. I think the kid's got great touch. He's got excellent vision. He knows where he's at every time. He has been locking on, I think, to his receivers a little bit. You and I, Todd, were talking about this, but he has a great idea of where to look off the safeties, and he did it on that case right there in the end zone.
Well, is this offense a quarterback's dream, though, to be able to run?
I have no idea what they're doing. Scott Westerling up there in the booth has so many schematics offensively. I'm second-guessing what they're trying to do half the time.
Jamie Thomas misses the point after. He was wide right, his first miss of the day. And Pacific Lutheran now leads at 34-14. A good look at Mark Weekly on the sidelines, guiding Pacific Lutheran even closer to a national championship. Great quarterback. He makes it look so easy.
Well, he's kind of that Doug Flutie mold, and a lot of people I have talked to said he's got great opportunity to play in the Canadian Football League. And in fact, he doesn't get a look in the National Football League. As you see Mark taking the snap, but watch his vision. He looks left, looks right, has the patience and poise to hang in there despite the rush. And you guys, I'm sure, have pointed this out. The guy's had a separated shoulder from last week's game against Baker, playing with a lot of pain, but the guy is hanging in there, have a lot of poise, a lot of patience. He's a senior. He's already passed for over 350 yards. He's going to be the key to see if PLU can keep this 20-point lead.
He threw that ball with a lot of zip fading back.
Well, I've never been one with great footwork myself, so any way you can get the job done, you can do it. He might not be your classic 6'4", 220-pound NFL-style quarterback, but the kid can play. He's proven at this level. He's a senior. What a great way to go out to lead the Lutes to the national championship game.
Jamie Thomas, a low-line drive. Aldridge Jones picks it up at his 5 and works his way across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. Jones already with a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. There you see PLU scoring drive, 6 plays, 27 yards, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Gavin Stanley, 6-yard touchdown reception from Mark Weekly.
You know, turnovers have hurt Westminster, Neil, but Sean O'Shea's shown a pretty impressive arm as well.
Well, he's got a quarter that you can show that more, Todd. You're right. 2 turnovers killed the chances that Westminster Titans have had in this football game. And now throwing the football, something they're very unfamiliar to do. They've been leading their division back there in their conference and rushing the football. Sean O'Shea is no stranger to throwing the football. He doesn't like to. They are not used to playing catch-up football. You're going to see a lot of dinks, a lot of dunks. They're not a long ball team. So watch PLU. They're just going to hope they chew up 6-7 yards in these series right now. PLU is going to play a 2-deep, 3-deep zone, make Westminster go at least 4 or 5 minutes in their drives.
Tim McNeil on the reception. John Hamill with the stop. Gene Nicholson on the sidelines, kind of shaking his head. His team is fighting hard, trying to come back, but they can't hold down that PLU offense. Fumble on the play. Andy Blatt fumbles, picked up by PLU. Turnover Westminster. Jason Thiel in the right place at the right time, and Pacific Lutheran will take over on Westminster's 25-yard line.
Lutes continue to come up with the big hits as Blatt, who has taken quite a few of them throughout the season. Watch, another trap play up the middle. He cuts it back outside and trying to see who that is that popped up and really just kind of reached up and slapped it away from him coming back off the field.
Well, my question on that, Todd, again, you're down by 20 points. There's only 13 minutes left in the I formation. Why even run the football? You've lost 2 turnovers, and now here's Mark Weekly getting at the controls, a guy you do not want handling the football. The guy knows how to run a lot of time off the clock.
We mentioned that before. They've gone into tight running formations throughout.
Tom Barber taking on about 4 Westminster Titans. Mark Biggin leads the stop on Barber. A good look at Frosty Western. Boy, what a job he's done at PLU.
Both him and Coach Nicholson, no stranger to the championship final game. And both of the guys last night at the championship banquet had a chance to meet them a little more. Coach Nicholson, a class guy, has a class team. But Frosty has done so many things in his 27 years. I guess 27 years at PLU. Amazing.
34-14, 12 and a half minutes left to play in the national championship game. Tang in motion to the far side, the handoff up the middle to Chad Barnett. Inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line.
You know, Neil, folks who aren't familiar with this game, it has always been played at campus sites prior to the last couple years. moved here to Portland, set a national attendance record a year ago. You've got to be very proud with the way this game's developed here at Civic Stadium the last few
we're very excited, Todd. Yeah, thanks to our sponsors, the people that really brought this championship game to Portland, a neutral site, the first time in a long, long time NAIA has ever been to a neutral site, and really thanks to my entire staff. A lot of local support we've had here. If you don't have the local support and volunteers, it doesn't make a game like this happen.
3rd down and 1, Weekly on the scramble. Does basically anything he wants to do. Now he's going to run it inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line.
That's exactly the poise I'm talking about. You see sophomores and juniors might have thrown the ball away, might have gone ahead and rushed himself. Mark's not the type of quarterback to do that. He's got excellent vision. He looks downfield. He's got the savvy and the poise to go ahead and make a play out of it. He knew he only had 1 or 2 yards to pick up. He does that. Again, great vision.
Let the blocks set him up, and then when he gets back into the passing attack, one of the strengths of this offense is that it allows a lot of isolation for the receivers.
Did you see the move he put on over there?
I see him. I've never done him personally myself with my slow feet, but a guy like Weekly, who's about 6 foot tall and not even over 200 pounds, guy's got to have some quick feet. Little Statue of Liberty there.
Didn't work.
Tried to do the old wraparound draw. We used to have that with the Cardinals. I could never get back enough to get around Otis Anderson's big trunk he had, about a 45-inch chest. I couldn't get around that at all, so we pulled that around the back draw, but the Lutes have used that throughout the season. Very successful. You think it's going to be a pass, and it's not a pass.
I tell you, Frosty's playbook has got to be about 500 pages long.
Well, they threw out 300 of them because Weekly hurt his shoulder last week, Steve, and I found out from Scott Westerling they actually took out 1/3 of their plays of their veer option. They didn't want to hurt his shoulder.
2nd and 14. Weekly drops back. All the time in the world. Look at this. He just stands back there, picks out his receivers, incomplete, almost another touchdown.
Well, Westminster that time only brought 3 rushes. Really surprises me. You're down here what we call the red area. Anytime you're inside the 20-yard line, you get a lot of man-to-man coverages, Steve and Todd. That time, Westminster only brought 3 guys. They dropped back in a 4-deep zone. They let anybody underneath go ahead and catch the ball. They knew they had to get 14 yards for a first down.
Jim Shapiro, the intended receiver, Todd McLean with a great pass breakup right here in the end zone. We've talked about Weekly's quick feet. Wouldn't you love to have a line that's giving him the time he's had?
Well, it's a little easier only blocking 3 guys, but Westminster's brought 4 or 5 guys and put some pressure on Mark. But Mark usually gets out of any kind of put situation with his feet.
3rd and 14, pass complete. Chad Barnett down inside the 5-yard line.
What this drive is doing too, guys, is eating up a lot of clock. The turnover at 13:30 left. Now there's almost just a little over 10 minutes to play. Gene Nicholson's on the sidelines going, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. And there's 3 of them. PLU has 0.
Todd McLean on the stop. There's a timeout on the field. 10:05 left to play in the game. PLU leads at 34-14.
I came to California, the stuntman was my name. Everyone's an actor here, but I play a different game. 'Cause I don't need the limelight, blind me with the
And action.
rough stuff, for fame I just don't care.
Hey, I'd like to try that sometime. Oh, I don't know, it's a little crazy. No, I meant your RC. I know, so did I.
My mother, chairman of Columbia Sportswear, honed her outerwear design skills while raising me in Oregon. In fact, she developed jackets that stand up to everything Mother Nature can throw at a human being.
The Columbia Interchange System.
I'm holding Bruce Smith's shoe, man. Do you know what Bruce does in these shoes, man? Bad things, man. I mean bad things. Things that I just can't possibly talk about. You know what Bruce would do if he found me messing with this shoe, man? Bad things, man.
34-14, Pacific Lutheran leads at 10:05 left to play in the game. PLU 10 minutes, 5 seconds away from its second National Football Championship, NAIA Division II. 4th and 4. Jamie Thomas in to attempt the field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 12. It'll be a 22-yard attempt. Clean snap, clean hold, clean kick. It's good. Add another 3, 37-14 PLU on top.
Well, you mentioned clock time, and that drive, call it sputtering if you would, but the Lutes actually ran more than 3 minutes of clock time off. That's longer than some of their down-the-field marches have been throughout this game.
Pacific Lutheran, after tying Linfield in the first game this year, has run off 11 straight wins. Westminster came into today's game with 9 straight wins. So, 2 winning streaks on the line, but PLU to this point has had the best of it.
Well, especially when they're averaging over 40 points a game, going against the #1 defensive ranked team in the nation. That's what I was looking forward to as an ex-quarterback. I love playing against the best defenses in the nation. PLU got that. They show in form right now that they deserve to be the #1 ranked team totally, not just offense and defense, but as a team in the entire nation. They're showing today. Now we're talking about 3 touchdowns, 3 conversion attempts for 2 points, and Westminster's back in it. The risk of that, there's a lot of risk because Westminster is not a throwing football team.
Jamie Thomas, nice kickoff deep, but out of bounds.
It's one way to keep Aldridge Jones from running them back, though.
They'll bring the ball out to the 35. And the Westminster offense will take over from there. There's that scoring drive, 7 plays, 20 yards, 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Jamie Thomas with a 22-yard field goal. Pacific Lutheran now with 37 points. How important was it for Pacific Lutheran to come out and establish its offense right off the bat? They'd heard so much and watched that Westminster defense in action, but they come out first quarter and strike right away.
Yeah, it's very important. Momentum is easily getting maybe the second, third quarter. When you get that in the first, second drive like PLU has done, a lot of good emotions, a lot of good feelings in the sidelines. And here's Westminster now running a draw play again. Not real comfortable with throwing the football, but you just can't throw the football every time because PLU is going to be sitting back in a 2 to 3, 4 deep zone. Believe me, you'll probably see no man-to-man coverage whatsoever. Zone it off, let Westminster work their way downfield.
Matt Buggy on the carry. Judd Benedict with the stop for Pacific Lutheran. Clock running.
Exactly. You'll give up the clock time on those draw plays rather than let the passing attempts go.
2nd down and 7, a pickup of 3 on the play. Sean O'Shea calling the signals for Westminster College out of New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Being forced out of the pocket, O'Shea scrambling to the far side, trying to find an open receiver, and finally runs out of bounds across the 40 at about the 42. John Hamill forced O'Shea out.
Well, that's when big plays happen, too. Anytime the quarterback will get outside the pocket, as we see Coach Nicholson there, his 8th championship visit to either a campus or a neutral site. The guy is in 3rd year, pretty impressive record there at Westminster. And that's not correct, not a 3rd year at Westminster. He's been there a long, long time, actually 25 years he's been involved with Westminster College. No stranger, again, to the championship series, being there 8 times.
3rd as a head coach. 3rd down and 3. O'Shea, handoff up the middle. That's Matt Buggy with some room across midfield and into Pacific Lutheran territory.
Well, you got to have that kind of play, Todd, because it is 3rd and 3. You need to get the first down to get this rally going here. Again, the rally hats have to be on the Titans. I mean, these draws are good for 8, 9 yards. You're talking about 3 touchdowns and 3 attempted and made conversions for 2-point conversions. This is a pro football game. The game's over, but hey, folks, don't go away yet. I was impressed with some of the passing they've done there in the third quarter to get a couple touchdowns.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to slip Blatt out of the backfield once again either.
1st and 10. Look out. O'Shea forced out of the pocket. Going to go deep. Going for Blatt. He's got it. Can he make it? Inside the 5. Touchdown, Westminster. What a call, Todd Pickett.
I'm looking at Todd going, wait a minute, I know there's a couple NFL teams going to fire some coaches this offseason. You better have your phone number available.
I want a multi-year contract, though.
Blatt out of the backfield. Did he call that?
Look at that. 2 receptions on the day for Andy Blatt for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, this is a very important 2-point conversion. As I said, I just made the comment, hey, this is a pro football game. Hey, you might as well go home. But this is a college football game. They get the 2 points. They're still in this thing.
Sean O'Shea, a great pass, right on the money. He scrambles to the far side, stops, throws across the field, and hits Blatt in stride. Now they go for 2.
Very important here.
O'Shea, quick drop. Whoa! Incomplete. Mark Bruckner.
Put it right on the numbers.
Whoa. So Westminster trying to come back. They're down 37-20, 8:45 left to play.
Boy, it sure is cold up here, Dad.
It sure is. Snow looks great.
It looks fast. But what if I fall down?
You just get right back up again.
Okay.
Hey, don't worry about that, pal.
Sign there, number 1.
Moments like these are special. Special to us is helping you get there.
Fourth place.
I did great.
Give me 5, pal.
Although they rarely agree on anything,
Grandma's gonna love this.
the Morgans never have trouble deciding where to eat. You see, Dad loves great chicken, Mom an incredible salad bar. For Jessica, it's pizza. And Brandon would live on chocolate mousse and cinnamon rolls if Mom would let him. Izzy's hot from the oven buffet, just $6.95 for dinner, $5.95 for lunch, and kids are even less.
Join us during the holidays.
Izzy's Pizza, there's a whole lot more.
Here are some more firsts where First Interstate Bank just can't help you. But there are firsts where First Interstate can be a big help, like helping you fix up your house to make it the home you really want. We'll do everything possible to help you with that. And because there's so many times when no one can help you, when it comes to banking, come to First Interstate Bank, and we'll go out of our way to help you. As long as we can.
We take a look at Westminster's scoring play once again. Sean O'Shea to Andy Blatt. O'Shea in trouble early, stops, looks across the field, and finds Blatt with a perfect strike. 2 catches, 111 yards for Andy Blatt.
And that's why you're doing color. I mean, play-by-play, not color, because Todd and I both said that was not the intended receiver. He was like number 4 or 5 on the depth chart that time.
All right, Coach, do you onside it or kick?
You got to kick away, especially after I just saw it. Too much time left here.
Chad Barnett at his 15-yard line works to the far side up to about the 27, 28-yard line. There's a look at the Westminster scoring drive. 4 plays, 65 yards. In the minute 17, Andy Blatt caps it off with that 47-yard touchdown catch.
I think the reason, too, Todd, they would not onside it. PLU, predominantly a passing team. When you pass and incomplete, it's going to stop the clock. Coach Nicholson knows that. If I onside this thing at the 40, 45-yard line, they recover, they can run it from there and get a good field position for a field goal. In this situation, PLU likes to throw the football.
I agree with you. I think Frosty's biggest dilemma is how to burn up some clock time right now.
Mark Weekly, 1st and 10. Hands off. Chad Barnett across the 30 up to about the 32-yard line. PLU with 11-0-1 record. Westminster at 10-2. This is Westminster's 8th trip to the national championship game. They're 5-2. Pacific Lutheran 1-3-1.
And been ranked number 1 nationally the entire year. And that's a lot of pressure on an institution to keep that national ranking. Number 1 against number 4.
Did you ever run this set when you were playing at Portland State?
This is what I'm talking about. Get the hook and ladder over here. The fireman special, we used to call it. Let's see what Mark's going to do with this setup.
2nd and 7. Weekly looking here to the near side. Fakes. Now passes complete. Gavin Stanley with another catch across midfield into Westminster territory.
You got to love it. You got a 17-point lead. There's 8 minutes left. They go with the hook and ladder out there. The fireman special. They got a 20-yard hook. Weekly's in shotgun. You talk about, well, Frosty's got a dilemma burning clock. This is how he burns clocks. He picks up 20, He picks up 25 yards on a completion.
They really know how to stretch out a zone with that alignment, don't they, Neil?
Well, Westminster's is frustrated. They can't go man-to-man because of the speed of PLU. You're right. They got to be in the 2-deep corner roll zone. If they do that, you got the whole the parallel zones to work in. And I love it when a team would sit back there in 2-deep zone and eat them all day across the middle.
1st and 10 at the Westminster 48. They snap at the Tang. Another trick play. The whistle has already blown. Tang dropped for a loss. They snap the ball to Aaron Tang.
Well, that's just perfect for PLU. It gets them in great position. They love to be 2nd and 15. It's better than about 2nd and 6. They don't know what to do with a 2nd and 6 situation.
Craig Vilwalk making another good play on that one. He has been inside the line several times here in the second half.
What have you guys seen so far? Who's really an MVP that sticks out in your mind defensively, offensively?
Oh,
offense, boy, that's a tough one.
Absolutely no question there.
So we got to wait for a while, huh?
2nd and 14. Clock running. Inside 7 minutes to play in this NAIA Division II National Championship showdown between Pacific Lutheran and Westminster. Weekly back to pass. No pressure whatsoever. Throws it up and caught by Stanley. He could go. Inside the 20. It's a foot race and he's dragged down from behind by number 26, Andrew Berry. He saves a touchdown. There's a perfect example of just basically throwing it up and say, here, Gavin, go for it.
Yeah, those were adjustments. Watch it again as Berry couldn't get to it, and Stanley was able to. 26 is Berry, and both of them freeze right here, kind of going around to make the hook, and you see Stanley will make the adjustment. Berry tries to turn and can't get to it.
Well, he was in perfect position for the pick. Berry, I'm talking about, number 26. Mark just, as you said, just flow that baby up. They're hoping the ball either incomplete or go out of bounds, and they pick up a big gain. And great situation. Look at this.
Great
11
set of
receptions,
hands, too.
147 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's why I asked, who was MVP out there?
Approaching 6 minutes.
They don't have a timeout left.
No.
PLU used its 3rd timeout.
Already used their 3 already?
We will find out.
Lay game against the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, they got lucky there because the 25-second clock ran out before Mark could make the call, but they've used all 3 of the timeouts, if I'm not mistaken.
And Roger Judd, our referee, will remind Mark of that because that is a penalty.
6:02 to play in the ball game. Pacific Lutheran once again threatening to score. The ball at Westminster's 16-yard line.
Another record for Mark Weekly, 445 yards passing in a single game, sets a school record.
The beat goes on.
Unbelievable. He's been doing that week in and week out for the last 3 years out there at Tacoma. Very impressive, the championship game. A lot of pressure on him.
1st and 15. Handoff up the middle. Tom Barber has some room inside the 5. Pulls his way down towards the goal line. And is finally brought down at the 1. Tom Barber.
Ironhead Barber taking it down to the 1.
That's a great call.
Holy cow. Yeah, it's such a short area now. You're in this plus territory, and Mark spreads them out, and Barber takes it right up the middle, right from here locally down south from Salem, Oregon.
Watch the hesitation by Barber after he gets the ball. Waits for a second for that lane to develop, and
there's
then
the power right
one-on-one against Aldridge.
He sees
McLean,
and he just puts his head down. 1st and goal from the 1. Clock is running. We're approaching 5 minutes to play. PLU trying to wrap it up right here. They pitch it outside to Barber, working hard, but nice job by the Westminster defense. They get him out of bounds right at about the 1-yard line.
Trying to let Barber earn that TD one more time.
He deserves it, though. Barreling in there. A few scouts here. I understand there are a few NFL scouts from some scouting combines attending the game today, so they'd like to see that kind of effort in a young player.
Somebody stopped me at halftime and said, hey, you'll never believe this. We got a call from Denver in the press box. They wanted us to identify a couple players for them. So somebody's out there keeping an eye on them.
They're keeping an eye. I don't care what level these kids play at. They're good enough. The scouts find out who they are.
Great talent being displayed at Civic Stadium today. Weekly quarterback sneak, and he's in easily.
Well, Steve, there's my vote. If you guys haven't decided yet who's the MVP is, maybe that's why you guys were chuckling a little bit, like if there's even a question.
Yeah, tough call, Neil. Touchdown, Pacific Lutheran. Touchdown, Mark Weekly. He has done it all. He has scored twice on the ground, has thrown 3 touchdown passes. You talk about a guy getting the job done. 4 touchdown passes, 6 touchdowns that he has been involved in.
No better way to cap a terrific career, not just a fantastic year, breaking several huge records up there at Pacific Lutheran. I know the kid wants to play a lot more years too somewhere.
Jamie Thomas on for the point after. He missed his last one, but he's perfect with this. 4:58 left to play in the national championship game. Pacific Lutheran 44, Westminster 20.
My mother, chairman of Columbia Sportswear, honed her outerwear design skills while raising me in Oregon. In fact, she developed jackets that stand up to everything Mother Nature can throw at a human being.
The Columbia Interchange System.
I came to California, the stuntman was my name. Everyone's an actor here, but I play a different game. 'Cause I don't need the limelight, blind me with the
And action.
stuff for fame, I just don't care.
Hey, I'd like to try that sometime. Oh, I don't know, it's a little crazy. No, I meant your RC. I know. So did I.
Three concussions, a broken leg, 2 knee operations, fractured collarbone, and I don't know how many busted noses. There's just no way Ronnie should still be here, playing a game like football. The guy must have a screw loose. Loose screw, you can add that to his list of injuries, too.
44-20, Pacific Lutheran up, 4:58 left to play. Jamie Thomas kicking off for the Lutes. Long kickoff headed for Aldridge Jones, and he falls down out of bounds at his own 3-yard line. Did he injure himself? He kind of just collapsed like he injured his knee or an ankle?
Trying to tightrope along the sideline there.
Boy, tough break for Westminster and Aldridge Jones. Here's another look. Let's see what happens. Tries to save the ball from going out of bounds, his momentum, and it's his left ankle. Oh.
Watch when he makes the plant right here, it rolls over. Started to pronate a little bit, and fortunately didn't stick too bad in the turf, it appears, so hopefully it won't be too serious as they continue to attend to him.
Boy, you hate to see that. Neil, understand you have to head on down and get ready for the trophy presentation. Nice to see you. Congratulations again on a great event.
Okay, thanks, Steve and Todd. Appreciate you guys working so hard to make this a fantastic event, having it on national cable here in Prime. And again, we're just happy to be the host here in Portland, Oregon, and putting on a fine championship game for the NAIA.
Great. Look forward to another big one in '94.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Neil.
All right, Neil, thanks very much. Neil Lomax from Promax, the event management group, putting on today's NAIA Division II National Championship game here at Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. There you get a look at the last scoring drive for Pacific Lutheran. 7 plays, 72 yards, took up 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Mark Weekly scored from 1 yard out. He's been involved in 6 touchdowns today, a couple on the ground, and has thrown 4 touchdown passes.
Adding to some more marks there. You know, you talked about that tie that Pacific Lutheran had in the first game of the season against one of the teams which reached the finals here a year ago, Linfield College from nearby McMinnville, Oregon, as we see Aldridge Jones being helped off the field.
Well, we hope that Aldridge bounces back. You hate to see this. A great player returned a kickoff 92 yards today for a touchdown. Any rebroadcast or transmission of today's NAIA Division II championship game without the written consent of Prime Sports Northwest and Promax Incorporated is prohibited. 44-20, Pacific Lutheran leads, 4:56 left to play. Westminster with the ball, 1st and 10 from its own 4-yard line, deep in its own territory. O'Shea, there's a fumble on the play. PLU looks as if they may have recovered, and they have. Things coming unraveled for Westminster. John Roberts on the recovery. A bad exchange right from the get-go. O'Shea was going one way, his running back went the other. A bad handoff, and they turn it over again.
And as we mentioned coming in, a team that was very strong in plus-minus. You see O'Shea's footwork and Blatt going the other direction, trying to make the adjustment. Roberts, a freshman from Black Diamond, Washington, falls right on top of it. But Westminster has had a problem with turnovers today. Normally one of their strengths.
So Pacific Lutheran takes over. Looks as if Carl Hoseth has replaced Mark Weekly at quarterback for PLU. Weekly's day is over, and what an impressive day he had. There you get a good look at Carl Hoseth, a junior, 6'3", good size, 11 for 19 this year, 105 yards.
We mentioned his dad also on the coaching staff. Just to finish up our point from a minute ago, as we see Mark Weekly celebrating his game. The only time PLU's ever had an undefeated season was in 1940. They were called the Gladiators then, and one of the star players, a young man by the name of Marv Harshman.
Carl Hoseth now calling the plays for PLU. The handoff and a huge hit. Number 42, Corey Bray, the ball carrier for PLU. Some of these guys now coming in, seeing some action. And I know that's really important for Frosty to get as many players in as he can so they can enjoy in this moment.
Just been informed Weekly also has a total offense record for a single game for the Lutes.
Great day for Mark Weekly.
Great way to finish up a career setting more records.
2nd down and 6. 2nd and goal from the 6. Hoseth up the middle. Picks up about 4 of those 6. Clock running.
I think somebody should snap a picture of this PLU in a full house backfield set.
Remember that. Inside 4 minutes to play now in the national championship game. Boy, I tell you, as far as winning this championship, what a great feeling it's got to be for Pacific Lutheran. You work so hard throughout the year to get to this point, and on the verge of winning it all. Frosty Western and the Pacific Lutheran football program. 3rd down and 2. Handoff, touchdown Pacific Lutheran. Josh Reekway, right up the middle. I'm not sure he was even touched. His first touchdown this year, Josh Reekway. Boy, what a moment for him.
Little cross action in the backfield, and you can see the inside handoff by Hoseth, and Reekway crossed the stripe before anyone can get to him. Little demoralizing too defensively. You know the game is over. It's tough to kind of get geared up and try to make those stops one more time, but some good blocking as well. Drop kick for Weekly.
It's 50-20. Weekly with the drop kick, and
guess what, folks? That's got to be the play of the day. Now the official is making a signal down on the field, so hold on. But a drop kick used to be legal, perfectly legal. He says no good, and I don't know why. We'll have to see if we get an explanation of this one. But I'll tell you what, good or no, somebody put that one on the highlight tape. When's the last time a college team had a drop kick for a conversion?
Why would you do that, though, anyway? Why would you come out and do a drop kick?
Let's see if Roger Judd has an explanation at all.
Kick is no good. Kicker hit the ball before the ball hit the turf.
They disallow it, but I guess probably my question is, why in the first place do you try a drop kick? What's the reasoning behind this?
Maybe for fun, maybe to show that he can do it all. I don't know.
You know, you're up 50-20. You know, why not just come in and just kick the point after and get it done?
Could be a promise that they'd made down the season. If we've got it wrapped up, I'll let you try one. And I'm sure he'll explain to Gene Nicholson after the game why, because these are both two gentlemen who uphold sportsmanship as one of their highest credos, so I'm sure there was some reason behind it. And we'll see if we can find out from Nick Dawson, the SID, perhaps why.
3 minutes, 32 seconds left to play in the NAIA Division II National Championship game. Pacific Lutheran up easily, 50-20. They have broken it open here in the second half. A game New Westminster team battling hard, trying to come back. But the Pacific Lutheran offense just too much. Jamie Thomas, a high kickoff. headed out of bounds again. That's exactly what happens, and Westminster will take over from its own 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Westminster came in with a 10-2 record, 5-2 in national championship games. Gene Nicholson's first game as a head coach as far as national championships are concerned. He has been with Westminster for a long, long time and has been involved in all 8 trips to the national championship game. Sean O'Shea still in the quarterback, scrambling to the far side and gets out of bounds. Trevor White chased him out for PLU. A pickup of a couple, 2nd down and 8.
Talk with Nick Dawson, the sports information director for PLU. He says Mark Wakely has fooled around with drop kicking at the end of practice all season long, and he says knowing Mark, he probably was over there begging Frosty to let him try one in a game and wrap up his career, so that's probably the reason why they did it, but he couldn't figure out why the call was made either.
3:26 left to play. Sean O'Shea and the Westminster offense trying to put some more points on the board. Fumbled snap out of the shotgun. O'Shea does a nice job picking the ball up. He's going to pass it and complete across the middle to Matt Sofran. O'Shea, nice job picking the ball up and making something happen off of that play. And there you get a look at the Division II National Championship trophy. Look at that. It's worth all the hard work, isn't it?
Definitely. It's been in New Wilmington 5 times and will be headed up Interstate 5 to Tacoma after this game.
Pacific Lutheran's last national championship and only national championship they've tied for one was back in 1980. O'Shea going deep. Incomplete. Looked as if they had 12 men on the field, but no call. Intended receiver Mark Bruckner on the play. PLU winning the championship in 1980, tying in 1987. And they will try to add today's accomplishments to just a great, great football program. Frosty Westering definitely needs to be commended for an absolutely fantastic job he's done with that program. Year in and year out, Todd, they are strong. O'Shea back to pass, now runs, has room across midfield, inside the 40, the 35. And Sean O'Shea working hard.
His footwork's not too bad either. Watch O'Shea, he just spots an open alley this time. Couple quick drops and knows there's room as PLU tried to put some pressure on him. Buggy out in front of him trying to add a block as well. And Sean O'Shea has played very impressively today.
Ball placed at PLU's 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Westminster trying to score some more points. O'Shea over the middle, picked off. Intercepted by Pacific Lutheran. The ball overthrown, and PLU was right there. Another Westminster turnover. Todd Green with the interception. Here's a look at the scoring today. Got off early in the first quarter. Weekly with a touchdown from 11 yards out. Then he hits Aaron Tang for 34 yards, 14-0. Then to Gavin Stanley, an 8-yard touchdown pass, 21-0. Aldrich Jones then brought back the ensuing kickoff, 92 yards for Westminster's first score of the day. Cuts it to 21-7 at the half. Pacific Lutheran with the ball, 2:17 left to play. The ball on its own 13-yard line, fumble and a scramble for the ball. Hoseth recovered the fumble, Pacific Lutheran ball. In the third quarter, Aaron Tang hauls in a 66-yard touchdown pass from Weekly to make it 28-7. Westminster bounces back, 66-yard touchdown pass to Andy Blatt. But then it's all PLU. Stanley, another touchdown, 34-14. Thomas with a field goal from 22 yards out, 37-14. Blatt then a touchdown pass reception for Westminster. But then Pacific Lutheran just rolls on. Weekly with a 1-yard touchdown run. And Requay with a 2-yard touchdown run makes it 50-20. Pacific Lutheran on top. Inside 2 minutes to play now.
5 turnovers against the Westminster Titans today.
Turnovers will kill you. Special teams also extremely critical in big games like this. And Pacific Lutheran excited on the sidelines as you get a look at Frosty Western.
We talked about year in, year out. Frosty has won nearly 80% of his games at Pacific Lutheran in 22 years.
That's amazing. Hosef, the handoff. A pickup of a few. There should be about one more play left in the Division II National Championship game. Jeff Modrak on the stop for Westminster. 4th and 13 for PLU as the clock winds down inside 30 seconds left. Jamie Thomas in to punt for the Lutes. And Frosty standing on the sidelines, awaiting another national championship for Pacific Lutheran. The punt picked up by number 23, Todd McLean. Clock is stopped now, 4 seconds left. The ball on PLU's 47-yard line. 50-20. Did they get him? Did they they dumped the bucket of ice on Frosty Western. A cold shower for Frosty in celebration of his second national championship at PLU. Westminster comes in to run off one more play.
And he's still trying to track the perpetrators down, I think.
Douglas Exline in for the last play at quarterback. 4 seconds left, 50-20. The handoff and tackle, and that will do it. Pacific Lutheran has won the NAIA Division II National Championship. The final from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. PLU 50, Westminster 20. A good look at national champion coach Frosty Western coming over to handshake with Gene Nicholson. There you see the final. PLU national champs, NAIA Division II, 50-20, the final. NAIA Championship Football was brought to you by Food for Less. Our name says it, our prices prove it. By Royal Crown Cola, me and my RC. By Thomason Auto Group. If you don't see them today, they can't save you any money. By Smith's Home Furnishings, because nobody cares like Smith's. And by Columbia Sportswear, manufacturers of indestructible outdoor wear. Final score, Pacific Lutheran 50, Westminster 20. An impressive performance by PLU in racking up their second national championship.
Well, it was the offense's day, the top offense and the top defense, and the offense had the better hand of it. They score as much in today's game as Westminster had given up in the last 9 contests as Frosty Western accepts the game ball, the autographed ball as part of this championship ceremony. Very impressive performance for PLU in 2 teams with a lot of experience.
And hats off to Westminster. They played hard all the way. Thanks to Pacific Lutheran University, Westminster College, the NAIA, and member colleges and universities, the Columbia Football Association coaches, and athletic directors. Today's game was produced by Prime Sports Northwest in cooperation with Promax Incorporated. All rights reserved. The final score from Civic Stadium in Portland, Pacific Lutheran 50,